Finding solutions is a good thing, but at BMW, we think it's better to prevent problems in the first place. With BMW Service with Proactive Care, we're there before you need us. If we find a fault with your BMW or your service is due, we'll reach out with a personalised solution to help get you back on the road again. So you're ready for tomorrow, today. Stay ahead by searching BMW Proactive Care. Driver remains responsible for maintaining the vehicle. Contact dependent on connected drive profile preferences.
Get in! Finally found the perfect sofa. A massaging, reclining, pink chaise longue. What a win. Only thing is, I haven't shopped on this site before.
Maybe use PayPal. It could help you feel secure, knowing your card and bank information is safely stored.
Oh, good call. Looks like I'm sitting pretty. Wait.
Really? You're better than that. Don't just pay. PayPal.
It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard. Celtic host Ross County, where they'll look to extend their lead at the top of the table, with Rangers and Aberdeen not in action until tomorrow. Motherwell host Hibs at Fir Park. St Mirren travel to face Dundee United. It's Kilmarnock against Dundee, and a big day in the Scottish Cup as well. I'm Andrew Maclean. Joining me in the studio is Gordon Dalziel, Mark Wilson and Hugh Keevins.
There are two stats concerning the Celtic game that would worry you if you were a pessimist and encourage you if you were an optimist. Celtic haven't lost a game at home this season, and Ross County haven't won a league game away from home for 1 year and 3 months. Is life that simple for Brendan Rodgers' side this afternoon? Nothing is simple for Hibs, being bottom of the table, but they could have the satisfaction of putting Hearts in their place at the foot of the Premiership if they beat or draw with Motherwell at Fir Park. The trouble for Hibs is they're hopeless. Not a word that you could use to describe Rangers' performance on Thursday night against Nice. And now they have to bear in mind that this is the league coming up, and that's not their strong point, because if Celtic win today, Celtic go 14 points ahead of Rangers, and then it's Rangers against St Johnstone in Perth tomorrow, Super Sunday, a ding-dong merrily on high.
Yeah, interesting how the fixtures are spread across the weekend, because Celtic won today, they go 5 clear of Aberdeen, and then it's a different pressure on Aberdeen tomorrow when they go to Tynecastle, and they get a wee glimpse of what it's like, that Sunday feeling when your rivals or whoever you're going up against at the top of the table stretch your legs and you have to keep up with them. So never mind Rangers, Hugh, it's Aberdeen we were all talking about, keeping in touch with Celtic, so that's going to be interesting. But Hugh's right then to mention Rangers. Is that a result that is going to kickstart the season? We've been here before in Europe where they get a positive result but come back and they're a bit flat. I think you can pick better places to go to than McDermott Park. It's always difficult, but a couple of good fixtures and movement all over the league from 4th down to 10th. Things could change an awful lot today.
Yeah, I agree with the lads. I look back in the midweek, I thought the Celtic was a good point. I was very impressed with them. I thought they came to Celtic Park and were excellent. Celtic weren't at their best, but it's a point and puts them firmly in the driving seat. Terrific performance result from Rangers the following night. Back to league business, looking forward to it, and my favourite time, Scottish Cup third round, and I will give you my big upset at 5-3.
Okay, we'll see if it's as good as the rest of your predictions are or not.
This is a one.
He is good at them, by the way.
Scottish Cup,
for comes alive.
For a guy who managed to semi-finals and everything, beat the big guys all the way there. I know my stuff when it comes to Scottish Cup. He
classes semi-finals like he's won it. Semi-finals isn't he winning it?
Hold on a minute. I was with a domestic club that was
the 6th round or something like that. That's
no. I got to finals and everything.
So the League Cup
know
final.
The cup, yeah, but I know the cups. I know what it takes.
Right, when I get your predictions, I'll get the Premiership predictions and I'll get one Scottish Cup upset from all three of you as well. We will keep you up to date with those 4 Premiership games, and of course plenty of fixtures in the third round of the Scottish Cup. Let's go around the ground, shall we? Let's get some team news, starting with Celtic against Ross County, Celtic Park. It is Gabriel Antoniazzi there for us.
Yes, Andrew, as the boys in the studio were saying, it's a different type of game for Celtic today. The first time this season that they can extend their lead at the top of the table to 5 points. Of course, rival titles, Aberdeen and Rangers both playing tomorrow. Well, Brendan Rodgers has rung the changes from Wednesday night's 1-1 draw with Bruges in the Champions League. 6 in total throughout the team. 2 at the back, 2 in the middle and 2 up top. Trusty, Taylor, Engels, Hatate, Kuhn and Kyogo all drop down to the bench. In come Scales, Baye, Bernardo, McCowan, Forrest and Ida. So the team is as follows: Kasper Schmeichel in goal, Alistair Johnson, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Liam Scales and Alex Baye at the back. Callum McGregor starts in midfield alongside Paolo Bernardo and Luke McCowan. James Forrest, Adam Ida and Dazen Maida are the front three. The substitutes: Sinisalo, Taylor, Trusty, Kyogo, Yang, Kuhn, Engels, Hatate and Ralston. So really strong bench for Celtic today if they do require it. Of course, the visitors are Ross County. They arrive here on the back of last week's 2-1 win over Motherwell. Don Cowan makes just 2 changes from that 11. Lopata and Randall miss out altogether. In come Telfer and Campbell. Looks like it'll probably be a 3 or a 5 at the back formation. Ross Laidlaw in goal, Akil Wright, Ellie Campbell and Ryan Leake in defence. James Brown and George Harmon as the wing-backs, with Charlie Telfer, Joshua Nisbet and Noah Chilvers in the middle. Jordan White and Ronan Hale are the 2 up top. Substitutes: Hamilton, Allardyce, Laturi, Sheaf, Greaves, Ifete, Samuel, Brophy and Reid.
Hugh, you predicted, was it 8 changes? Or you suggested that Brendan Rodgers should make 8 changes?
Yes.
Not as many as that, but still a good few.
He kept Carter-Vickers in. I had him out. He has got my midfield, and he has my front 3 with the exception of Forrest. No, Forrest, Ida. I had my Ida out. I had Louis Palmer in place of my Ida. But as I say, it's Celtic at home. The incentive, and I do understand that when you're being pragmatic, you look at the team who are second in the league, and that's Aberdeen, and Mark's quite right to point out that it could be a 5-point lead over Aberdeen. However, this is the west of Scotland. If Celtic win today, they're 14 points ahead of Rangers. That's what really concerns people.
Yeah, you look at that Celtic team, it was only going to be a matter of time before Brendan Rodgers really started to, having to really use his squad, because there are so many games coming up. He's been pretty consistent in his team selection over the course of this season, but is this maybe a sign of things to come over the next few weeks?
I would think so, and that's why you compile such a large squad, or Celtic have got that luxury that they can afford such a large squad full of international players. If you aren't going to use them in games like today, then when are you going to use them? Because it takes a lot out the legs, that sort of intensity and pace that you play at midweek. But you're right, Andrew, when you get to November, December, you've got to start rotating. And look at the quality he's bringing in. You say rotating, Scales has played a lot of football, so it's no big shock he's in. Valet, I expected him to be in today. I thought he was impressive when he came on, and he's shown some good signs so far. Your midfield, you could play any of those midfields domestically, and I think you'd get similar results. But Bernardo certainly deserves his chance. Looking forward to seeing Luke McCowan, how he takes to it. A start at Celtic Park. And then your front 3, pick anyone you like, it still carries a threat. So when you're playing against Ross County, I'm looking at the stats just now, they've conceded 22 goals this season, sitting round about the mid-table. I don't think you'd have any worries with that starting 11 that Brendan Rodgers has picked.
Yeah, rotating doesn't always mean you're weakening the side. You look at some of those players, some of them are players that fans have been calling to get more game time. Alex Valle, Luke McCowan, Paolo Bernardo. Supporters want to see these players on the pitch, and they'll get the opportunity today.
And for Brendan Rodgers, it's freshness as well. It's guys that's given an opportunity, knowing that there's a bit of pressure on these lads, because they are desperate to be starting every week. We see what Celtic's probably strongest 11 was the other night there. Bernardo must feel really unlucky. He's in against quality players, and he's a quality player himself. So I think Mark's right. I think it's a great opportunity. I think it still looks very strong, and if these guys play this afternoon, it should be a comfortable 3 points for them.
They have a murderous schedule, let's be honest. They have Ross County today, Wednesday night, Pittodrie. What a game that will be. And they've still got to go to Croatia to play Dinamo Zagreb in the Europa League, and then there's the cup final on December the 15th. All of this is happening in a 2-week period, so he's got to do what he's doing today, and bringing in players and utilising that squad. You don't spend millions and millions on assembling it, not to utilise it.
Well, that's the team news from Celtic Park. 3 more big games in the Premiership. Let's go to Fir Park. Motherwell against Hibs. David Friel is there.
Yeah, Andrew, a big game for Motherwell actually, who could move within a point of third place Rangers with a win today. But as Hugh alluded to, let's be honest, most of the focus will be on the Hibs dugout as David Gray continues to fight for his job. Hugh says Hibs are hopeless. It's hard to argue when you look at the stats. They are 9 games without a win. They have 1 win in the last 15 and they are rock bottom of the table, albeit they are level on 9 points with Hearts. They've also won just 1 away league game in the last 12 months, so I'm not sure the Hibs fans who arrive here will be holding out much hope today. As neutrals, I think we'd all welcome the drama of Hibs 3-3 midweek draw with Aberdeen. What a game it was. 3 injury time goals. Rocky Bashiri grabbing a last gasp equaliser for Hibs. However, I think David Gray would take any kind of boring win today. He's bidden to stop the rot and give himself some breathing space. To fair to the Hibs board, they have backed him publicly. They aren't in the mood for a change just yet, but you do wonder how long that can go on. I think this run of form needs to end soon, and David Gray knows that. He hasn't shied away from it. They're only 14 games in, but Hibs are clearly in a relegation battle already. They do have 4 draws in the last 6 league games. David Gray's clinging on to any positives. He'll probably view that as a sign that they do have a bit of spirit, but they badly need to get wins on the board. And as I was saying earlier, if they do get anything here at all, they would put Hearts bottom, so that would be a slight positive for them. As for Motherwell, they start the day in 5th. They could finish the day in 4th if they win and Dundee United drop at anything at all. They won 2-1 against Hibs at Easter Road in October. Got a decent record against them recently. Andy Halliday grabbed the winner that day, and there's plenty of incentive for them here today as well. A win would put them 13 points clear of Hibs with 2 games in hand, which is quite remarkable. I think when you compare the budgets and the expectations of both clubs. So huge game for both clubs today. Let's see how it goes. Motherwell, Stuart Kettlewell's made 2 changes from defeat to Ross County. Really disappointing performance and result. Davor Stavkovsky, he's in for Steve Seddon, and Tom Sparrow is out injured, so Tawanda Maswanisi comes in. It looks like a 3-4-2-1 usual formation for Motherwell. Aston Oxborough in goals, Kofi Bama, Liam Gordon and Dan Casey at the back, Marvin Kaleta, Davor, Andy Halliday and Ewan Wilson across the middle, with Lennon Miller and Maswanisi in behind Apostolos Stamatolopoulos. Subs for Motherwell are Heggie, Seddon, Robinson, Payton, Blaney, Kutrumbis, Ibaye, Gillis and Watt. As for Hibs, he has kept faith, David Gray, with the keeper Jordan Smith despite his nightmare against Aberdeen in midweek. Actually thought he was culpable for, well, definitely 2, maybe 3. It's a major surprise. I wonder if Bursick would come back in, but he's not. Jordan Smith does start again. Chris Cadden against his former club also replaces Lewis Miller in the only change. So it looks like a kind of similar 3-4-2-1 formation. Jordan Smith in goals, 3 central defenders, Warner Hora, Rocky Bashiri and Jack Iredale. Chris Cadden, Nectar Triantis, Joe Newell and Nicky Cadden across the middle, with Eli Yuan and Junior Hoylett supporting Mikola Kuharevich. Subs for Hibs are Bursick, Miller, Levitt, Doyle Hayes, Kwan, Campbell, Gale, Boyle and Molotnikov. The referee at Fir Park is Grant Irvin and the VAR is Andrew Dallas.
Kind of seems at the moment that every game is bigger than the last for David Gray.
Yeah, the calls he makes now will decide his fate, because as David Friel rightly says, it can't go on this way. You know, not to have won any of their last 9, a goal difference of -10, and then you understand why, because in Jordan Smith they have a goalkeeper who couldn't keep pigeons out of a loft, so they are going to have to go with him today though, and those are the calls that will decide David Gray's fate. I'm not sure he's picked the right goalkeeper, I'm not sure he's picked the right team, and I'm not sure he'll get anything today.
But he had to change a goalkeeper. They've had a disastrous season with goalkeeping. I think I'm right in saying that they've written to the Scottish SPFL to see if they can save, bring in a new rule just to see if they can keep a clean sheet. They're terrible at the back. They just give away goals for fun, and if you keep doing that, then you're going to be relegated. You can't say that Hibs are too good to go down. We're saying it week in, week out. They celebrated like a victory the other night there, and I can understand why, because you can say all the positives about they come back and showed character, never gave up. It's a difficult one at Fir Park today, but he can't keep losing. And I do believe, and as much as we are critical of players, when they get to the January they have got to go and get a goalkeeper. They've got to, or they will be relegated.
Will that be a positive for David Gray, that when teams are down at the bottom fighting for their life, sometimes teams maybe look as if they don't have it in them, whereas on Tuesday night against Aberdeen, yes, they conceded late, but to then go again and score, is that a sign of life?
Well, depends what way. He'll obviously be looking at it like that, and he'll obviously be saying the right things in the media, and he'll say it to his players. But deep down, if you're having to score 4 goals at home to win games, then you have got big issues, and Hibs have got big issues. Day one of the season, I think it was away to St Mirren, defending, calamities, mistakes everywhere. People look like they weren't really, busting a gut to get back. And you think maybe that's a one-off. It has followed them throughout the season. Individual errors in almost every game, and those individuals will cost you your job. That's what's happening to David Gray. He might have the best tactical brain in the world. He might have all the correct principles, but if you keep picking these players who keep making these mistakes that lead to goals, that leads to you losing your job. So a huge one for them today. This is the 15th game of the season. They've only won once. That tells a story.
A familiar meeting at Rugby Park, Kilmarnock against Dundee. Roger Hannah.
It certainly is, Andrew. Quite remarkably, it's the third meeting of these teams in just 8 weeks, and the first 2 games they've given us such entertainment. Killie were 2-0 down at Dens after 86 minutes, somehow won the game 3-2, and then Dundee come back from 2-0 down to snatch a last gasp 3-2 win in the second meeting, also at Dens. Amazingly, both these teams have scored. Each of them have scored in 12 of the last 13 meetings, so we can expect goals at Rugby Park this afternoon. Dundee's still buzzing after that 4-1 win against Hibs last week. Killie hurting after a 1-0 defeat at St Johnstone, a 6th red card of the season. Liam Donnelly now facing a second ban, and when you add that to Stuart Finlay having surgery and been out until March, a few problems for Derek McInnes, of course, and Tony Docker, the old pals. They'll be expecting another close contest today. A home win would see Kilmarnock join Dundee on 15 points, but Dundee know that a victory and a favour from their city rivals United against St Mirren this afternoon could see them into the top 6 tonight. Tony Docker, he's got selection problems as well. He's only got 7 in the bench because of injuries. Added Sean Kelly, once of Livingston and St Mirren. He's signed as a free agent this week and is on the bench. I'll give you the team lines. Kilmarnock make 3 changes from that defeat in Perth, and I've said expect goals. I think with this Kilmarnock lineup you can expect goals. In come Gary Mackay-Steven, Fraser Murray and Bruce Anderson. Out go the suspended Donnelly, along with David Watson and Danny Armstrong, who go to the bench. So it's Robbie McCrory in goal. It's a back 3, Joe Wright, Lewis Mayo and Robbie Dees. Across the middle, Gary Mackay-Steven, Brad Lyons, Fraser Murray and Corey Ndaba. And then a front 3. It'll be interesting to see how they line up, Andrew, whether someone drops off, whether 2 push out wide. But it's a front 3 of Bruce Anderson, Marley Watkins and the skipper Kyle Vassell on the bench. O'Hara, Burrows and McKenzie, Armstrong, Watson and Cameron, Wales, Polworth and Bainbridge. These 2 changes after that win against Hibs are both enforced. They're both because of injury. Trevor Carson, the goalkeeper, and Clark Robertson, the centre back, who went off injured early in that win last week, both miss out. Back come John McCracken and Ryan Ashley. So it's McCracken in goals, a back 3, Antonio Portales, Billy Kumetia and Ryan Ashley. Across the middle, Josh Mulligan, Mo Silla, Jordan McGee and Finn Robertson. And then Lyle Cameron tucked in behind a front 2 of Seb Palmer, Holden and the skipper Simon Murray. On the bench, Sharp, Ingram, Tiffany, Adewumi, Kelly, Braybrook and Vetro. The referee is Ross Hardy. The VAR at Rugby Park's a pal of the Dazzlers. It's Andrew Dallas.
One thing we know about this fixture is that there always tends to be goals. Both games this season have been 3-2. There was, 3 2-all draws last season. And Kilmarnock certainly sound as if they're going for it.
Well, I'm amazed at that, the amount of attacking players Derek McInnes has put on the pitch. We always kind of think about Derek McInnes' Kilmarnock teams as hard to play against, robust, with a wee bit of flair at the top end. But how many attacking players were that? 5 maybe? Yeah. And in that front,
they need to pick up points, man. That, yeah. You know, you look at the league table, and that was one that tipped Kilmarnock to have another terrific season, but they're sitting 10th. I know it's still early. I know there's still that sort of touching 6 points between them and St Mirren and 6, which is not a lot, but you've got to keep picking up points. I'm delighted. If I was a Kilmarnock supporter and I was listening to that team going along to Rugby Park today at home against Dundee, a game that you're capable of winning, and we're going all out attack, I'd be happy with that.
Those are my kind of tactics. Never mind who plays where. Just get Marley Watkins, Kyle Vassell and Bruce Anderson there up front. The referee won't blow his whistle to start this. There'll just be a man in the stand going
One thing Kilmarnock need to do is keep 11 players on the pitch.
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, it's been a horror story. I've never known a season like it for a team and individuals within that team receiving multiple red cards. Derek's incredibly frustrated and he could do with all 11 on today, but I think you're guaranteed goals in that game, going with history and the amount of attacking players on
Are
the
you
pitch.
guaranteed another red card?
Yeah.
Surely not. Surely not another red card.
They've had 5 this season.
I'm going for it, Hugh.
Another red. A 6.
Yeah, I think there'll be a red somewhere.
There's only so much a manager can do, surely, to try and combat that. Derek McInnes has tried this season. He's been, fining players in training for pulling shirts and all sorts. It's just not working.
Maybe highlighting it too much, and I don't know if it's affecting the players on the pitch, because you can do that. There's no doubt you can stand in training and make up all these rules, highlight everything. Right, you're getting fined, or you're going to not get a day off. We've seen all the punishment, being involved in it. Sometimes you can just go overboard with it.
One final game in the Premiership at Tannadice, Dundee United against St Mirren. Dave Galloway's there.
Both sides go into this one full of confidence after very good results last weekend, Andrew. Dundee United, in their first season back in the top flight, sit 4th and got a hard-fought draw away to Rangers. That was preceded by victory over Ross County. And with 2 home games in a row, including today's, they'll be looking for maximum points. St Mirren have hit some form after an inconsistent start to the campaign. Back-to-back wins for them, including the ending of Aberdeen's long unbeaten run 7 days ago. And they've picked up 10 points from the last 12 available. Both meetings between them this season have been close, with just 1 goal in it. And Dundee United make just the one change. It's Adegboyega coming into the side in place of Fotheringham. So they will line up with Jack Walton in goals. It's a back 3 of Emmanuel Adegboyega, Declan Gallagher and Kevin Holt. Midfield, Ryan Strain, Vichko Sevelge, Lucas Stevenson and Will Ferry. Up top, Sam Dalby is helped by David Babunski and Glenn Middleton. The subs for United: Richards, Graham, Moult, Odada, Fotheringham, Van der Sande, Thompson, Sturton and Meshach. St Mirren, not a huge surprise, they are unchanged. So it's Ellery Balcom in between the sticks. A back 3 of Marcus Fraser, Alex Gogic and Richard Taylor. Midfield, Evis Buomono, Killian Phillips, Mark O'Hara and Scott Tanzer. Up top, Toyosi Olosanya, supported by Conor McMenamin and Greg Kilty. The subs are Minsky, Kenny, John, Smith, Boyd Muntz, Idowu, Mooney, Ayunga and Mandron. Match referee here at Tannadice is Matthew McDermott, and on VAR duties it's Nick Walsh.
Yeah, 2 teams that I think will be feeling pretty good about themselves at the moment.
Well, Dundee United getting that point at Ibrox last Saturday after a horrendous bus journey and all of the other problems that come with that. Players cramping up long before the end of the game, so they're at home. They'll have had a proper preparation, but it's a good St Mirren side who beat Aberdeen and destroyed Jimmy Thielen's undefeated record last weekend. So Dave's got a good matching prospect there.
Let's put it into perspective as well. Dundee United could go level in points with Rangers, and if results go really their way, or the scoreline goes their way, they could go above them. That's quite extraordinary at this time of the season. So don't know what it tells you. Dundee United have been good, Rangers have been that poor, but I think Jim will be happy with how things are ticking along, especially after last week's performance.
Well, that is the team news from the 4 Premiership games. The next part will bring all the guys in and talk about the biggest talking points of the week.
This is a paid advertisement from BetterHelp. We're probably all guilty of not taking enough moments in our life to say thank you to someone important, someone who makes a difference. For me, of course, I've got family and friends I can speak to, but what about the family in here? As much as we get nonsense from the likes of Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel on this show, it is really important, seriously, to take a moment and realise the difference having a laugh with your friends can make and escape whatever else is going on. So I'd like to shout out to them both and all the other pundits in the show for keeping me and hopefully you entertained every night. And this month with BetterHelp, it's all about gratitude. So along with the likes of Mark and Daz, the other person we don't get to thank enough is ourselves. So here's a reminder to send some thanks to the people in your life, including yourself, because you're listening to the Super Scoreboard podcast. You're obviously already got pretty sound judgment. Remember to tell yourself that there are so many benefits to using BetterHelp for therapy. It's not just for people who've experienced serious trauma in their lives. There are great tips for learning positive coping skills, how to set boundaries and just be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. With over 5,000 therapists in the UK already, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a wide variety of expertise in mental health. Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/SSB. That's betterhelp.com/SSB.
Finding solutions is a good thing, but at BMW, we think it's better to prevent problems in the first place. With BMW Service with Proactive Care, we're there before you need us. If we find a fault with your BMW or your service is due, we'll reach out with a personalised solution to help get you back on the road again. So you're ready for tomorrow, today. Stay ahead by searching BMW Proactive Care. Driver remains responsible for maintaining the vehicle. Contact dependent on connected drive profile preferences.
Get in! Finally found the perfect sofa. A massaging, reclining, pink chaise long. What a win. Only thing is, I haven't shopped on this site before.
Maybe use PayPal. It could help you feel secure, knowing your card and bank information is safely stored.
Oh, good call. Looks like I'm sitting pretty. Wait.
Really? You're better than that. Don't just pay. PayPal.
Get in pole position for cheaper van insurance. With mustard.co.uk. With top insurance providers, a 5-minute pit stop with us could get you out in front in the race to savings. See what you could save and compare your van insurance today. With mustard.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
Action as it happens. And your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
Big day of Premiership and Scottish Cup third round action across Scotland. We will bring you it all today, and of course some big games tomorrow as well. But this is the part of the show where we look back on the biggest talking points of the week. I think it's probably only right that we look back on the European results. Another big week of European action. Mixed results, you would say, for the three in action.
And mixed emotions if you do them in chronological order. Celtic didn't play well against Club Brugge, but they had the determination about them to come back from an awful own goal and get the equaliser through Dyson Maeda. A point. They are still on course for the next phase of the competition. For me, there is nothing you can say to take away from Rangers' result and performance against Nice on the Côte d'Azur, because Scottish club goes to play club from France, high in Ligue 1 in France, and takes 4 goals off them, and Nice got off lightly. So I know we can go on all day about their deficiencies, and they were many and very obvious, but Scottish club goes abroad, scores 4 goals, give them a break. As for Hearts, the game against Cercle Bruges summed up their season. 1 down, get a penalty. Last season's top goal scorer shells the ball over the bar. The crowd turned on Loris Shankland, which I think was shameful on the part of the Hearts supporters. The only reason they were in Belgium to play in a European tie was because of Lawrence Shankland, but they've clearly decided his heart, no pun intended, is not in the club anymore, and he's getting it tight from the fans. So mixed results, mixed emotions, 1 draw, 1 win, 1 defeat. But so far as Celtic and Rangers are concerned, indeed Hearts as well, they can look forward to a place in the next phase.
Yeah, if we go through them in chronological order and start with Celtic, David Friel, not their best performance of the season, but would it be a positive that they still managed to come away with a point and are still on track?
Yeah, Andrew, 100%. Listen, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I think I certainly underestimated Bruges a bit. It's not until you kind of have a kind of closer look at their backstory. Their Champions League regulars, they got to the semi-final, the Conference League last year. They're a good team, and I felt they showed that, especially in the first half. Kept Celtic Park really quiet, played some good football. I was actually more impressed with them than I was RB Leipzig, which I didn't expect to be saying after 45 minutes. And I think, as you kind of alluded to there, Andrew, I think this is a game Celtic would maybe have lost in previous years. You know, there's been a few examples of that, probably under Ange Postecoglou and Brendan Rodgers last year, where Celtic just let games get away from them, and this time they managed to dig in. They kept it together. It wasn't a vintage performance, but they somehow found a way to get a point. I think in the end it was deserved. They could have maybe stole it at the end. I don't think that would have been deserved, but it's a good point and a vital point, because I think if you look at the standings just now, Celtic sitting 20th in the Champions League phase. And Bruges are one of their direct rivals now for a knockout place, and it kept Celtic ahead of them in the standings. So I think over the next few games, I know Bruges have got some tough ones coming up. I think, you know, a month or two down the line, that could be looked upon as a very, very vital point for Celtic in terms of their hopes to get to the playoff.
It's unavoidable. You have to talk about it after that game. Cameron Carter-Vickers' own goal is the type of thing you don't see very often, but he seems like the type of character that it wouldn't really affect him too much. He played well for the rest of the game and back in again today, and you'd expect that there won't be any effects.
Look, it's a mistake. It's the way Celtic want to play, but I give credit to Bruges. I thought that they went there with a game plan and they worked it brilliantly. When have you ever seen a night in Europe with somebody like McGregor being so quiet? You know, the midfield of Celtic being so quiet. They went man for man. Their discipline was brilliant. They stopped all the space. They stopped Celtic playing that fast flowing football that we know they can play, especially in a night like that. I'll be honest, I thought it was a great point for Celtic. I thought the substitution of Brendan Rodgers made a big difference. Celtic second half looked a bit better. They got a great equaliser, terrific goal. But if you look at it overall, it's a great point in the sense that keeps them firmly in there. They've got young boys that I think everybody's expecting. That's a banker. There's still 2 away games. They're capable of picking up points. So as much you're disappointed because you're right, everything will depend on our home form. I thought that was a very good point considering everything, and I totally agree with Dave Frail. I think a lot of us didn't know Bruges was as good as what they were.
I think it gives you a glimpse, and for the supporters going along to Celtic Park, what happens at the elite level. You know, like Bratislava and maybe young boys will be a bit different, but when you come up against clubs like Bruges, who haven't got household names in every position, maybe can get a bit complacent. But when they're still a top team with a good manager, and they've done their homework, and they obviously watched how Celtic played against Leipzig, and they worked things out quickly on the pitch. And I thought Celtic struggled with working Bruges out then quickly. I think Brendan Rodgers took to half time to obviously get his players in the dressing room and change a few things that then resulted in a better performance, and they got the goal. But that's the elite level. That's what Celtic are up against. That's why these games are so difficult. It's not about your stars, your well-renowned names. It's about the teams you're coming up against and how clever they are now to work you out and come up with a different game plan that makes it difficult for you.
In the case of Rangers, Roger Hannah, they continue to confuse us when it goes from European to domestic form.
Very much so, Andrew. They are the original Scottish football enigma. They were superb. Listen, as Hugh said, you cannot take anything away from them in that performance. Any Scottish team that goes to a side 5th in League One in France, a side that hadn't lost at home in any competition this season, and Hugh said it was 4 going on anything you like. You think of the chances. Mastiga Mane missed that chance at 0-0. Dessers, wow, what a sitter late on in the game. Even Ridvan Yilmaz, when he came on, missed a sitter. It could have been 7 or 8 for Rangers. They were absolutely terrific. Therefore, I expect them to revert to type at Perth tomorrow.
It's just such a strange thing, isn't it, that I think with a lot of clubs, if they weren't going through a great spell and then had a result like that, you'd think, is that the springboard? Will it all change on Sunday? I'm not sure anyone is expecting Rangers to go to Perth and put in that type of performance, just based on the heaps of evidence we've got.
I was on SuperScoreBoard last night with Scott Allen, and I was taken aback by the reaction of the Rangers supporters. One caller actually said, bad result for Rangers because it keeps Kilmarnock in a job. Now that is the way some Rangers fans, and we can only judge on what the fans who call this programme tell us, but that's the way some Rangers fans feel, that they dismissed 4-1 against Nice in France because it kept Philippe Clement in a job. If they do revert to type, as Roger said, in Perth tomorrow, you can only imagine what the backlash will be like.
What will the backlash be like if Cyril Dessers starts ahead of Hamza Igamani tomorrow?
Be a strange one, because Igamani obviously does well. He looks a handful up there, looks like he's got a trick and a flick in him, but obviously scores a couple of goals. And if Dessers comes back in, which you wouldn't be surprised at, would you? I think the fans will be scratching their head. Will they be surprised? I don't think they will be surprised, just because of inconsistencies throughout the season with Rangers and team selection. I mean, Igamani, for instance, on Thursday night, could any of us said that he was going to start that game until the team came out? I don't think many of us would have betted on that. So it's a strange one. You never know what Rangers team's going to line up, but that goes with their form as well, because if you keep chopping changing every position, you're not going to get a consistent run of results.
The big problem with the team line-up, he seems to listen to sports science quite a lot. Igamani put in a good shift the other night there and was excellent, I've got to say. I totally agree. You were thinking, okay, he's got to play, he's got to be a starter. I think we'd all agree on that. But I just think this manager thinks differently. That's just the way he is. But someone has got to tell me, what is Cyril Dessers doing to me? I've tipped him top goal scorer. How do you miss that, Dessers? Come on.
If you're going by league goals, he's only one goal behind.
I was talking overall.
Overall.
Come on. I've got to say, I've seen sitters. I think he now takes the trophy from me. I missed the worst one ever recorded in Rangers history, and I'm glad that Dessers took that off me on Thursday night.
It's an issue. It's never going to go away for Dessers, because if he's on the bench and he comes on and he gets an opportunity, misses, it's another one to his collection. And even if he does end up at the top end of the scoring charts at the end of the season, and that's a big if, people are always going to say, well, what about all the ones he missed, and how far could he have been ahead? It's an unfortunate position a striker like him finds himself in. But if you're Philip Clement, I get what Dad says, because Clement does reference sports science a lot, but surely you've got to start thinking about results in your own job and who you play, rather than protect players.
He said last weekend he had run out of credit after the home draw with Dundee United. Well, if anything goes wrong in Perth tomorrow, it's bankruptcy.
See, just quickly on that, Hugh, just quickly, what we're forgetting is the fact that Danilo come on last week against Dundee United, and everybody was talking very highly of him. Obviously he's not in the European squad, so Dessers might just find himself further down the pecking order here. It'll be interesting to see his team tomorrow.
Yeah, we will focus a bit more on that game later, but of course we have 4 big games in the Premiership, 3 o'clock kickoffs. We will go back around the grounds next.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Around 15 minutes to go until kick-off in the 4 Premiership matches we've got today, and of course the Scottish Cup third round. Plenty of good fixtures that we'll keep you up to date with. Let's go back around the grounds and preview those Premiership matches, starting with Motherwell against Hibs. David Friel, another huge match for David Gray.
Yeah, he just has to start winning, Andrew. It's as simple as that. As we spoke earlier, the stats are terrible. 14 games in the league, only scored 15 goals, which is remarkable. And it looks now as if he's trying, when we speak about the goalkeeping situation and changing, putting Jordan Smith in, taking Joseph Bussick out, but even up front, for how many years has Martin Boyle been Hibs' talisman? And then you look during the week, he gets 6 minutes against Aberdeen. I think the game before that he only got 23 minutes. So I was actually speaking to a couple of people here, just asking, what's the script with Martin Boyle? And it's basically just form. It's just a lack of form. He is still Hibs' top goal scorer in all competitions with 5, but he finds himself on the bench again today. And I think David Gray is just struggling to find a formula at both ends of the pitch. They concede goals far too easily. They don't score enough goals. That's a really, really difficult game for him, and as we spoke about, I just don't know how long the Hibs board can really let this go on if he doesn't start winning games. They did the public vote of confidence, which I was quite surprised about at the time. I thought his time was up then, but again, that's a couple of games down the line now, still no wins. If he doesn't get a win today, I think the pressure just cranks up a notch again today, and David Gray, he just has to keep winning, start winning games.
Yeah, it's just a strange situation Hibs find themselves in. Obviously can't be nice for David Gray himself. He knows that the pressure is building, but as David says, it's as simple as that. The longer Hibs go without winning a game, the more in danger he'll be of losing his job.
I wonder how much the Gordon family are caring about Hibs. The decision to buy Hibs was taken by the father, who has sadly now passed away. Do the family still have the same commitment to Hibs? Bill Foley put in £6 million, the owner of Bournemouth. He did not want David Gray to be manager. He did not want Malky Mackay to be the CEO. How long before they start exerting an influence? Might there even be an attempt to take over Hibs? But the bottom line is that if things remain as they are, Hibs are going to go down unless they get a goalkeeper, unless the manager can get more out of the players unless there is a return to form by Martin Boyle, which puts him in the team, gets goals. But at the moment, they are directionless.
Yeah, the goalkeeping situation is a tough one because Bursic was in goal for so long. I think people were wondering why he was getting so much game time after the mistakes he's made. David Gray's made the change in goal. It hasn't really changed their fortunes at all.
Well, that's a problem when you're a manager. You make that change, a big decision. You're hoping it pays off. He didn't have the greatest of games, I've got to say, against Aberdeen. And if you're in that back 4 or 5 excuse me, whatever Hibs play, you'll be absolutely no confidence. A goalkeeper is so important to you. If you look at good teams that are up there successful, you'll look at the goalkeeper, the amount of points it saves them, save the team over a season. And especially if you make a mistake at the back, which Hibs are liable to do, and they'll probably do this afternoon again. I think it's a big 2 games. I agree with the lads. David Gray to me comes out and speaks brilliantly for me. You know, he doesn't try to shy away from it. He says it as it is. He's one of these Hibs legend, but the goodwill eventually runs out. He plays Motherwell today, and if he didn't get in at Motherwell, his next game's Celtic at Celtic Park. So all of a sudden we'll be sitting here going, oh, he can't keep losing games. I think that if it wasn't for the fact of David Gray and his reputation round about Hibs and what he meant to Hibs, I don't think he'd been a job just now. So he has to work. He has to win.
Legendary status means nothing. There's a statue outside Celtic Park of Billy McNeill, the greatest captain they ever had. Celtic sacked him as manager twice. There's a statue outside Ibrox of John Gregg. Rangers sacked him because he wasn't getting results.
It carries you slightly, Hugh. I've been in the position. It carries you slightly, and then eventually when the fans have had enough, you're right, it goes away. That memory of the cup final and that fantastic day for them, he made Hibs fans. So you look at just now, and I think it's an absolute disgrace, right? For Hearts fans to boo Lawrence Shanklin, to me, is disgraceful, right? And I know that people will shout, well, I paid my money, I went, you paid a lot of money to go abroad and watch them. Lawrence Shanklin was magnificent for Hearts. He's went off for him. Players can do that. And all of a sudden, a guy who probably got them to Europe is getting booed. Clubs amaze me. Me personally now, I agree with every player that goes and makes as much money as he can and has no loyalty to clubs, because if you ain't doing it, clubs ain't got loyalty to you.
Roger Hanna, another meeting between Kilmarnock and Dundee, 2 managers who of course know each other very well, don't seem to have really figured each other out yet though.
Yeah, you quite often get that, Andrew. The 2 of these guys here, Derek McInnes and Tony Docherty, they know each other so well. You would think they would cancel each other out, and it's quite the opposite. The goals have flowed in these games. As the boys were saying, top of the show, a lot of 2-2s last season, and it's get better this season. 3-2 Kilmarnock first time round, 3-2 Dundee second time round. And you look at the lineups, as I said when they read the teams out earlier on, they both look as if they've almost given up on defending in these fixtures. They're just going to try and outscore each other. The front 3 for Kelly today, I was actually asking one of the Kelly staff how they thought this was going to line up. Kelvissell, Marley Watkins and the recalled Bruce Anderson, and nobody seems to know. So it looks like a 3-pronged attack. At the other end, Simon Murray, who's always good for a goal for Dundee, up front along with Seb Pamela-Holden, who's really impressed since he came up here in his loan spell, I think, from Bristol City. And then Lyle Cameron, player who I really like. He's in an advanced role, he's in a number 10 role, tucked in behind the 2 front men today. They will be really brimming full of confidence after scoring 4 last week. And it's a type of fixture, even though it's the 3rd time they've made it in 8 weeks, I don't think familiarity between these 2 is breeding anything other than a keen sense of anticipation.
Yeah, it's just a strange quirk of the fixture schedule that they're playing each other for a 3rd time. It's not even December. Kilmarnock haven't played Motherwell in the league yet, but are playing Dundee for a 3rd time. But I think if there's any fixture that we would want to see being played quite frequently, this is probably high on the list.
Yeah, it's been good, hasn't it, for the last couple of seasons. Obviously Tony Docherty leaving Derek McInnes after that long-term partnership, and it served up goals and entertainment. And was that, well, a couple of weeks ago it seems, last minute goals up there, Dundee firmly ahead, then 3-2, and then the opposite result as well. So guaranteed goals there today, especially like we said at the start, with a front 3 and Gary Mackay-Steven. Is he going to play as a left wing back? Because I think that's going to be dangerous for Kilmarnock. but plenty of attacking flair on show today. Good one.
It's one of those lineups that you're a genius if it works. If it doesn't work, then you're going to get some amount of stick.
Yeah, Derek McInnes, he's down among the bottom clubs as well. So, it can't be overlooked that they've not had the best start to the season. They're only 3 points above Hibs, and we've got Hibs condemned to the Championship unless they're careful. So Derek McInnes knows the value of a good home win today. He's got Ibrox to come on Wednesday, and he'll want to go there in better heart.
Dundee United against St Mirren is the other game, and let's hear from Jim Goodwin and also St Mirren assistant Brian Kerr.
Credit to Stephen Robinson and to his players, really turned things around in the last 4 games. Unbeaten obviously in the 4, but 3 wins in there. And I think it just shows you, how difficult the league can be at times where, St Mirren hadn't changed a great deal from last season. Similar group of players, same message from Stephen, no doubt, but just weren't quite getting the break of the ball. And I think fine margins in a lot of the games had cost him. So he's made a slight tweak to the system and to the formation and to the personnel, and he's definitely getting the rewards for that in the last 4 games. And it just shows you put a good run together in the space of 4 or 5 weeks, and all of a sudden you can catapult yourself up the league like St Mirren have done, and they're now back in contention for those top 6 places.
A tough one. Dundee United have a great start to the campaign. They're obviously flying high. We've lost the previous 2 games to them, so that's a wee bit disappointing, and it's off the back of a couple of set plays, so we need to fix that. And we know it's quite a difficult game up there, but both us and them are on a decent run, so both teams will be looking to continue that. Yeah, I feel we're a wee bit of a different team from when we played them previously. I think we've turned the corner a bit. I think we're obviously high in confidence also, as they are after a few decent results, especially last week at Ibrox. So we're going into this game, full of confidence. We know we've got to go and do the basics well. We understand that, but also we need to make sure that we finish the opportunities that we take as well.
Not long to go until kick-off. We'll go back to Celtic Park next.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
Celtic against Ross County, Dundee United, St Mirren, Kilmarnock, Dundee and Motherwell. Hibs is the Premiership offering today. Lots of games in the Scottish Cup third round that we will keep you up to date with as well. Not long to go until kick-off in all of those matches. Let's go back to Celtic Park to get the final bit of build-up with Gabriel Antoniazzi.
Thanks, Andrew. Yes, Celtic's 6-match winning run ended on Wednesday night, but things are still looking very rosy here in the East End of Glasgow. Brendan Rodgers wants his team to seize the chance to extend the gap over Aberdeen to 5 points for the first time this season, and they could go 14 ahead of Rangers. We're still in November. It is hard to believe. The captains leading their teams out in front of me now, Callum McGregor and Jordan White. Celtic have made a lot of changes today, 6 in total, and understandably with the gauntlet of fixtures ahead of them, there have been times where an alternate 11 hasn't really delivered and required reinforcements from the bench to tide them over. They'll hope, though, that they won't be needed today. And many players in this 11 feel they deserve starts, Andrew. Just lining up in front of me, Alex Baye, been really bright when he's played recently. Paolo Bernardo as well. He must be thinking, what can I do to get into this team? Well, he's got a chance today. Let's run through the 11. Schmeichel in goal. Johnson, Carter-Vickers, Scales and Baye the back 4. McGregor, Bernardo and McCowan. The midfield, Forrest, Ida and Maida, the front 3. The visitors, Ross County down here after a 2-1 win against Motherwell last week. Don Cowie making 2 changes to his side. They line up as follows: Laidlaw in goal, Wright, Leake and Campbell in defence, Brown and Harmon as wing-backs, Telfer, Nisbet and Chilvers in the middle, White and Hale up top. It's grim reading if you are a Staggies fan. Celtic have won the last 30 meetings between these two sides. County haven't won an away game in the league for over 14 months. Again, a statistic that's hard to believe given that they stay in the Premiership year upon year. Everyone knows it is their home form that usually keeps them up. But don't forget, County did lead Celtic for a long time in the previous meeting earlier this season. It required late goals from Alistair Johnson, Nicholas Kuhn to win the game. Will we see such a close tie today? We'll have to wait and see. Referee Callum Scott just urging the players to the centre circle. Celtic in their typical huddle fashion. The visitors standing over the ball, and we are moments away from kick-off at Parkhead.
Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes. With M&D Green Pharmacy. Planning your holiday? Get essential health advice and medication before you travel.
Yes, underway in the 3 o'clock kickoffs across Scotland. We will get some predictions. Let's go for the 4 Premiership games, and I want a Scottish Cup upset as well.
I'll give you Celtic to beat Ross County, Motherwell to beat Hibs and intensify the pressure on David Gray, Kilmarnock to beat Dundee, and at Tannadice I'm going for a draw, and I don't care about upsets. I just want one team, Clydebank, to beat Bucky Thistle. Go on.
Would that be an upset?
I don't.
Bucky are decent, isn't they?
Well, last time Bucky were in Glasgow, they played Celtic at Celtic Park, if you remember, in the Scottish Cup.
Bucky's in Glasgow every Saturday night. I
like that. Okay, I'm going to go for a Celtic home win. I can't see them not winning with that squad and players looking to prove themselves. So I think it'll be a comfortable one there against Ross County. I think Motherwell will beat Hibs, adding to David Gray's misery. Draw at Kilmarnock versus Dundee, a score draw. And Dundee United to go level in points with Rangers with a win at home to St Mirren. My shock, Brora against Livy.
What? No, need one of your youth coach. I'll go Celtic beat Ross County, Motherwell Hibs a draw. I'm going all out attack Kilmarnock to beat Dundee, and Dundee United to beat St Mirren. And here it is, first and foremost, you've heard it here first. The cup upset, Banks of D to beat Hamilton Accies because they've got a secret weapon,
which and that is
Gabs' wee brother.
Yeah. Oh, I hope he's playing, and I hope he still plays for them. If he doesn't, then that's going to be a terrible prediction.
Please tell me he's
Gabs will tell you. Come on, Gabs.
And plus the fact is he's wee brother, big brother. What age is Gabs?
It's his wee brother.
Right. Okay.
Gabs says, "Love it, Dazzler." He's on the bench.
There's the headlines. Gabs has been used to on the bench.
Grabs the winner.
Look, they guys are used to winning trophies. I remember that brilliant day at Hampden when I sat next to Gabs' trophy and he was on the bench in the cup final that day. Come on for 20 minutes, brought his trophy into Hampden. Celtic Rangers game, nobody could watch it. They were going, look at that silverware that Gabs has got.
I wish he hadn't had that chocolate chip cookie because it set him off like the kids used to go off in a Calpol.
I just love how much you bring up that trophy story. It really tickled you, didn't it?
That's my favourite.
I wasn't there, right? And he phoned me. The first thing I said, how'd the game go? Never mind the game. He said, Gabs brought a trophy. Brilliant. You got to love him.
He was on the bench as well. I loved it. Absolutely.
Team players. It's a squad game nowadays, mate.
Anyway, Banks of D. Lock it in.
Underway.
I'm there tomorrow with the youth team. Yeah. Banks of D versus Thistle. So
okay, double. Banks of D double.
Maybe if Gab's brother doesn't get some game time, he might be able to drop down and play against you.
Maybe. I'm sure I got offered Gabs' brother at Brecon. I think I turned it down. I think he was at Aberdeen. I think.
Yeah, he was.
I had a look at him.
I thought he was.
He went out and loaned to did he go to Cove or something? He went out to a couple of clubs, didn't he? Gabs was too.
Knocked him back.
One famous brother.
Cove, Forfar, Montrose. Yep.
Breakin's the only one that's missing then, isn't it? They all go about the same clubs.
And he would have completed the set if you hadn't knocked him back.
I knocked him back.
Why did you knock him back?
Because I took Connor Barron instead. So you do the math. You weigh that up.
I'd have taken
Tannadice or Barron.
Tannadice will do.
Who's to say that if Chris hadn't moved to Brecon that he'd maybe now be getting in Scotland squads and have got the move?
Exactly.
Maybe it was just under your tutelage that he.
I would think so. Just those little nuggets I dropped into Barron. That's where he is. He remembers that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Play it long.
I'm sure he does. Hide behind that hedge.
As you can tell, nothing has happened in the 3 o'clock kickoffs so far. Nothing to report in those games. No goals in the Scottish Cup yet. No goals in the 4 Premiership fixtures. You mentioned about Dundee United being able to go level on points with Rangers. Motherwell have gone about their business really quietly this season, but if they win today, 1 point behind Rangers, it's quite something.
It's funny how everyone keeps pointing out who can get close to Rangers. Dundee United can go on level points with Rangers. Motherwell can go 1 point behind. It's symptomatic of the kind of season that Rangers have had, and we all know the script now. Rangers play on a Thursday night and they take the weekends off, but that has to change. If Celtic beat Ross County, that has to change tomorrow, because Rangers can't be 14 points behind Celtic. They have to win that game tomorrow. Celtic, interesting, Jordan White and Ronan Hale up front for Ross County. Jordan White once cost a Celtic manager his job, you remember?
Neil Lennon,
yeah. Lost 1-0 to a Jordan White goal in Dingwall, and he was out the following day. And Ronan Hale has already scored against Celtic this season, but Celtic, again, it was a show of character in Dingwall, and they got the late goals to win 2-1.
Robbie McCrory makes a save from Jordan McGee. Adam Ida's also got down in the box at Celtic Park. Referee had a quick look, but it is just going to be a corner to Celtic.
Well, it seems to be that Celtic obviously starting on the front foot. If you're an Adam Ida, you've got to want to show what you can do. He had a very good cameo appearance at Tynecastle last Saturday, scores 2 goals, and I thought James Forrest changed the game for Celtic last Saturday when he came on as well, and he starts today. So Celtic clearly want to get their business done early.
Yeah, an early goal would be good for Celtic. You'd imagine that we'll have all the ball there at Celtic Park this afternoon. I like the changes, I like the freshness. They're quality players. It's not like you're bringing in untried, kids given their first chance in front of a big crowd. These guys can play. They're international football players. If they play today, they'll win this game comfortably.
Yes, Hugh has just reminded me that we need to do this.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Since season 2018-2019, 6 players have scored for Celtic or Rangers and scored for another SPFL team in the same season. Can you name them? So you have to listen carefully to this question. Since season 2018-2019, 6 players have scored for Celtic or Rangers and scored for another SPFL side in the same season. Who are they?
I think that is pretty tough. I think that's tough.
Do you?
I've got one already. One right away.
Okay, maybe it's not.
Let me see.
We will see. Remember, get your answers in at Clyde SSB. Beautiful. Is that correct, Hugh? One correct answer for Mark already. Remember, at Clyde SSB, all your answers in one tweet. And remember, it is a race as well, so you want to be at the top of that podium come half time. Make sure to get your answers in as quickly as possible. There is a goal in the Scottish Cup. It's Edinburgh City 0, Dunfermline 1. Dapo Mabudi on the score sheet.
Good start for them. Dunfermline are having a terrible season. Sitting down there, obviously just in front of Airdrie. They've got that little breathing space, but for a club the size of Dunfermline to be sitting 9th in the Championship, they need a little cup run just to give them a bit of confidence. That would have been our night out, mate.
Dunfermline? No,
5. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, first goal.
What on earth's happening between Wolves and Bournemouth? 8 minutes in already, 2-1.
Defence is on top.
Was hoping for the same between Dundee and Kilmarnock, but no goals yet. David Friel saying no chances at his game either. Motherwell against Hibs, pretty quiet start.
Scrappy stuff.
Yeah, David will be on. Give another 1 minute and he'll be on complaining.
Bonnyrigg Rose 1, East Fife 0. Lee Curry scoring for the hosts.
The romance of the cup. Oh no, it's a league game.
No, because East Fife get put out the cup by who?
East Fife get put out of the cup by
Banks of Dee.
Oh,
yeah,
great knowledge.
1-0.
What we should do is get you the gig with Gordon doing the next round of the draw with facts like
home,
that.
Talking about the man, look.
Oh, there he is.
Little Mowgli has just come on our screens.
He doesn't like that.
I think he's going to like that.
If anybody watches Mowgli, that is him there. And by the way, he's not grown up. He's looking the exact same, let me tell you now.
At least,
the only difference is he's got cans on now.
At least we know for a fact that Gordon is not listening to the show at the moment, so he can't get too rattled.
He'll still have an ear. He'll have another earpiece in listening to the show.
He's recorded the studio.
I think you can say his lawyer's listening.
He'll be happy, mate.
Peterhead 0, Montrose 1, a Kane Hester penalty puts them ahead in the Scottish Cup. Roger had actually put this into the chat there, saying that Barcelona lost 2-1 to Las Palmas today. Ooh. And starting for Las Palmas, Scott McKenna. Coming off the bench for Las Palmas, Ollie McBurney. Scoring the winning goal for Las Palmas, Fabio Silva. We've got one of these as well at Celtic Park.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Celtic have the lead 10 minutes into the game, and it's Liam Scales, a header off the underside of the bar from a corner, and a good start for Brendan Rodgers' side.
Liam Scales is the only defender who has that ability about him to capitalise on set pieces. It's a dying art. Used to be commonplace, but from corner kicks, free kicks, he's the man to pick out, and that's the worst possible start for Ross County.
I think with Liam Scales, Daz was chatting about Bernardo earlier, being unlucky not to be in the starting 11. I think he can count himself as being unlucky, because most of the time, 90% of the time he's played, I think he's been outstanding. And like any kind of young Celtic player who comes through, and he went out on loan, of course, and he came back, that the mistakes that he made were highlighted so much that it was difficult for him. But I think he's been terrific for Celtic recently. Gets a goal. He scored in the Champions League, didn't he, from a set piece?
I can't argue with that. The one thing about him, when the ball goes in there, he goes and attacks it. He believes that he can go and win it. And I agree with Mark. See, if you're Liam Scales and you're at a club the size of Celtic and you see what they're bringing in. Now, let's be honest, Trusty and Carter Vickers are probably the two centre backs that are the strongest for Brendan Rodgers. But Scales has, to me, never let them down. He's been absolutely brilliant for them, and there he adds that with a goal and gets them off to a good afternoon. I think there'll be plenty of goals at Celtic Park today.
Good delivery from the corner by Luke McCowan to set it up as well. He's a player that Celtic fans have been wanting to see a bit more of since his move from Dundee.
Luke McCowan appears to be the domestic Celtic 11 player, as opposed to the Champions League Celtic starting
I thought
player.
He should have come on the other night, Hugh.
Yeah.
The camera panned to the bench, and it looked like he was getting ready to come on. Maybe we had about 15-20 minutes to go, and I was thinking that's a good option, because I thought Hatate had a poor game. Thought he couldn't do anything right, and I thought it's maybe screaming out for McCowan, because how could it be any worse than what Hatate was? But he didn't come on the pitch, and you're right, it seems to be domestically he's trusted, maybe not so much on the continent.
I don't think that's necessarily a slight on him. It's his first season at Celtic, and we're not yet at the halfway stage of the season. But he's made his contribution. He's put the ball onto Liam Scales' head, as the Dazzler said. Scales fought for the right, and Celtic, I think, look in the mood.
Stirling Albion 1 0 in the Scottish Cup. Adam Brown with the goal for
Remember
them.
Adam?
And
Adam, we
have
him.
Yeah. What's his claim to fame? Come on,
yeah.
Oh, Hugh, do you know his claim to fame? Go on then, Daz.
He starred in Mrs. Brown's Boys or something, didn't he?
Adam Brown?
Yeah. Well, is it something?
Well, he might have done, but wasn't he what I
thought? He was the ball boy.
Yes.
The ball boy at a football game, I can't remember.
At Celtic Park.
Messi?
You're just shouting random things now.
I know.
You started badly with Mrs. Brown's Boys and went worse.
I've totally forgotten
He
what it was.
He found Maradona's chain, didn't he?
Oh.
When
did he give it back?
He found it on the pitch, remember, when Argentina trained there. Maradona was the manager.
That wasn't the question.
What?
Did they give him it back?
They
If I'm
gave him it
finding
back.
Maradona's necklace, that's in my pocket.
Yeah, but there are people of honesty and integrity.
I don't
out there.
care.
He was a wee guy at the time.
I know
Don't get
eBay
steal
wasn't
it.
popular then, but
Hold on, you wouldn't have gave Maradona that back?
absolutely no chance. I'd have been in the skyrocket down the road.
You would have thought
Straight on eBay.
maybe Maradona would have gave you a few quid for finding it.
Well, Adam Brown came to us, so he didn't obviously.
get
He
it,
needed
I
money.
know.
So I wasn't like Maradona changed his life, but if you'd have kept that chain to now, what's that worth? That's an investment. You've got to look forward.
Some say investment, some say theft. It's just depends on your outlook on life, I suppose.
A bit of both, if I'm totally honest with you.
Musselburgh Athletic 1, Bo'ness United 0 in the Scottish Cup. Nathan Evans scoring for Musselburgh.
Good songs it as well.
Yeah,
busy guy.
Yeah. I mean, that's the Scottish Cup's so big for teams, all through the divisions because the draw that you get. But for those two, I wonder if they're disappointed by that or they're quite happy to face each other, give yourself a better chance to get further.
Of course.
But what if they got I don't know, see a Musselburgh got a Partick Thistle at Firhill or something like that? That generate any cash for them?
Wouldn't even pay for their bus home.
Interesting one at Tannadice because Jack Walton charges off his line, cleans out to Yossi Olasanya, yellow card given. There was a quick VAR check, I'm assuming, to see whether it should have been a red or not. However, play on.
Oh, well, Jim Goodwin has got away with one there. Need to be careful. So remarkably, Liam Steele's goal is the only one in the Premiership so far.
Yeah, plenty going in the Scottish Cup. Queen's Park 0, Partick Thistle 1. Robbie Crawford.
That's a big one for Partick Thistle, I think, because the cup runs mean money. You remember Ian McCall taking Partick Thistle to Rangers, did very well there, and then got sacked the same night. But a home draw against a Celtic, or home draw for Rangers against a Partick Thistle, or a Celtic against Partick Thistle, then it's glee time because you make a fortune.
Do you want to read that teaser again, Hugh?
Yeah, why not?
I think people might need a bit of a hand out there.
We're going back to season 2018-2019. 6 players have scored for Celtic or Rangers since then and scored for another SPFL side in the same season. Can you name them? It begins in 2018-2019 to the present day. 6 players have scored for Celtic or Rangers and scored for another SPFL side in the same season.
Just looking at some of the answers coming in on Twitter. Charlie Bear says Greg Docherty.
No.
Also says Ryan Christie.
No.
And also says Jamie Murphy.
No.
And says Jack Hendry.
4 out of 4 wrong.
And says Lewis Morgan.
5 out of 5 wrong.
And says Scott Allen.
6 out of 6 wrong.
6 answers tweeted in, 0 correct ones.
But
you'll need to try again.
That's hard to do. Get every answer wrong.
Oh, what about him? Mark?
Yes.
Okay. Two of you are on a bit of a roll.
I might be a wee bit time scale out, but I think it's worth a go.
Okay, we'll give it a go.
Yeah.
Kane Hester has a second for Montrose. They're 2-0 up against Peterhead. And another goal in that game. Bournemouth 3, Wolves 1. 18 minutes gone.
That'll be a match of the day special tonight after Celebrity.
Well, it's Gary O'Neill's.
Gary O'Neill. Oh, Gary O'Neill.
The Wolves manager.
Yeah.
He'll be OBC, out by Christmas.
He got a good result last week. I seen him on the park celebrating for some reason. I know he's really struggling just now, but I think he got a good result last week. Not particularly happy with him anyway.
Who? Gary O'Neill?
He doesn't do it for me.
I like Gary O'Neill. I think he's alright.
He's a bit.
You think the managers have sleepless nights about losing their job like managers
millions
in Scotland?
Mate, see if I'm an English Premier League manager, I'm phoning the chairman saying we didn't play particularly well tonight, did we not? What's your thoughts? Would you like to have a board meeting tomorrow?
Maybe it's time for a change, chairman.
I feel a bit of freshness in that dugout. We could do well for the fans.
Day one of the job, feet aren't even underneath the desk yet, and you're already thinking of the payoff.
That's what I thought about. Honestly.
Were you ever a player that? Because I came across so many players in the dressing room, and I think I was speaking to another ex-player the other day, and we were having a joke about that, how we were never in that bracket that you signed for a club, you get a 3-year contract, but quite quickly you recognise as you don't fit the manager's plans, and you're on your way out within 6 months with a full pay up. You go to a next club and you do the same. There was loads of players that had that, so they barely kicked the ball. You look at their appearances, but they had maybe 3 or 4 different clubs all paid up.
I know what camp I'm in. I'm in that one that you're talking about. I'll tell you right now, I love the payout.
You'd be sitting on the bench with Maradona's chain on.
Couldn't care less. Honestly, see, the cheque was cashed after 3 days.
He'd be sitting in Berlin with Maradona's chain.
Oh,
Junior Hoylett is looking pretty lively for Hibs. Had a shot blocked after a good run forward by Jack Iredale. I think that's the first shot on goal that's happened in that game so far. But Hibs looking okay. Some decent play from both sides, says Dave Galloway at Dundee United St Mirren, but neither goalkeeper tested. I do wonder whether that VAR check was maybe to see whether it was in or outside the box rather than a red or yellow card, but it was a free kick that was given in the end.
Yeah, I'm surprised. 4 games, 1 goal. Liam Scales for Celtic.
Forgot about Celtic. I'm just imagining Celtic are going to go on and score. I'm looking at the other games. I think Dundee United St Mirren's a cracker. My focus is on Motherwell Hibs because I need Motherwell to bounce back. But if Hibs get beat again, that's another story.
Junior Hoylett now down injured in the middle of the park after looking bright at the start of this game. Not what Hibs need.
That's the way David Gray's luck is going. He really has to, I think, win today. I'm fascinated by the Hearts Aberdeen game tomorrow for a variety of reasons, but David Gray has simply got to give some form of indication that he's capable of winning anywhere.
If Hearts win tomorrow, is Aberdeen's bubble burst, Hugh?
Well, that would be 3 games in a row without a win for Jimmy Thielen.
1 point.
Well, yeah, 1 point out of 9. But Hearts couldn't hit a barn door. They've got the top scorer from last season has gone 20 games and scored 1 goal. Nobody else helps them because they're all just as bad in front of a goal. I would fancy Aberdeen strongly tomorrow at Tynecastle.
You can tell the other night there, we were watching it with the penalty kick. You could see, you can tell players that are playing with confidence and guys that are just hoping the ball hits the back of the net.
Yeah.
And Lawrence Shanklin's like that just now. I think he's a real top class player. I really do. He's unfortunate as a striker. You get through games and you're just waiting for that next goal. You just want that next goal to happen. And maybe sometimes his link-up play has been really good. I thought at Ibrox second half, coming off, linking the ball, everything about it is very good. He just needs to get that little bit of luck again, front of goals, confidence comes back, and then all of a sudden he's off and running again.
I'm not saying he is 29, and I'm not saying this because of his age, but the constant speculation linking him with Rangers, I don't think Philippe Clement was ever interested in Lawrence Shankland, and I certainly don't think he'll end up at Rangers the way he's playing now.
Not looking good for your upset shout, Mark. Livingston 1, Brora Rangers 0. Reece McAleer.
No. You know what? I'm going to twist on that one. I felt too pressured into picking that, so I'm going to change.
You can't just change.
Aye.
It's nearly half time.
I could tell it was such a rushed pick as well, because you just turned around, looked at the fixtures on the wall and picked the first one.
I'll go for Bournemouth. Right, go. What do you want?
I'll go for Broxburn to beat Stranraer.
Ooh,
that's not bad, eh? Right,
like
okay.
Your thinking there.
Yep.
I like your thinking there. It'll not happen, but I like your thinking.
Did they borrow the Livy bus? Did I hear that earlier on?
I love the Livy bus. Have you seen the Livy bus? There's 2 buses. There are 2 team buses in Scotland that I love a fall about. Right, the Livy bus is sensational. And Aberdeen.
I knew just a couple of buses that are
I just want to be involved at Aberdeen to go on that bus.
I've never known anyone to be a football team bus enthusiast.
I used to love the team bus.
Because it's got pictures on the side of it, the Livy badge, and the Aberdeen one's got the players on the side of it.
I was
you
always
like the bright colours.
Even when I played in the management, right, I was always fascinated. My mic
I think your mic's just that's how boring his story was going to be, that his mic is just
It's the jungle.
I think I'll turn Gordon's mic off for now.
What did you say? It's the jungle?
The jungle, aye.
Okay, you're back. I think you might have got an electric shock and all that, but you are back. We'll maybe get someone to take a look at that.
I'll not need that transplant now.
You are going to look a different person, I think, this time next year, aren't you?
Nobody will recognise me.
You're telling me all about the further work you're planning on getting done.
Yeah, Merchant City. I hope you're listening, Paul. I'm be in on Monday to get my fillers.
What's the company called?
But by the way, genuinely, I think people out there will think you are joking.
Somebody says to me in the gym today, right, were you kidding on with that? I says, listen, you will not recognise me by this time next year. I'll be a younger Dazzler. I'll be looking at
it. Genuinely getting filler on your face.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, I can only compare it Louis Walsh.
I'll
Way
get on
back
about
in the
the
X Factor days.
Kardashians.
He went for one season and it was Louis Walsh, and he came back for the next series. And you're going, what's going on with Louis Walsh's face? And of course, he had the full work done. That's you.
What a bizarre reference point to,
Well, no,
to bring
really.
up as
You
well.
think old
Having
guy,
that locked
grey
away in there.
hair, wrinkly, just everybody. And the next series, he had the old
Turn that
makeover.
off, mate, honestly.
You are SSB's Louis Walsh.
I cannot wait.
If Daz in, mate,
I cannot wait to see what you look like. Daz 2.0.
if Dyson Maida doesn't get a goal soon and we talk about something else, I'm going to lose the will to live in here.
Yeah, there was a good ball in by, I think, was it Paulo Bernardo? No takers though for Celtic. There was a Ryan Strain shot for Dundee United, free kick 25 yards out, not too far away. There is a delay going on at, where is that, Fir Park as well. There is, the officials are having communication issues, so whatever happened to your mic appears to be happening with the officials there. So the players are over at the side taking a bit of a drinks break.
So if the communications cannot be switched back on, we just go back to old school way of life.
Yeah, you can't abandon the game, so you'll need to.
You're talking about keeping young, or Daz try to keep young. I said something to you earlier. I've got a fella in my kitchen spray painting it, Stevie, and he was telling me today that he thought you were a legend, and all his pals did. They went to Ibiza on a stag do
hold on.
with t-shirts with your face printed on it.
Oh no,
I don't know
not
for
one
what
of them
reason.
got a bird.
It was a quiet weekend for them.
Exactly, it was
But
quiet.
it shows how much a legend you are. Stag do's going abroad with your face on the t-shirt.
Oh, you should have got
Now
a
that
photo.
must
You
keep
should have got
young.
that photo sent through to you.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite impressive.
That's quite desperate.
I don't know for what purpose, so that they had your face on
A
the
lot
front.
many years ago was that, because he was very popular years ago.
What, that might have been the days you had the tash.
I don't think
you looked.
don't think the popularity has waned.
I think it is. You're well gone.
Another one of
it's
these
grown.
at Celtic Park.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Celtic 2, Ross County 0, and it's Luke McCowan with the goal. It was a good ball over the top from Liam Scales, touch and finish after a good run into the box from the midfielder.
Well, the dream goes on for Luke McCowan. The dream was to play for Celtic. He's realised the dream in £1 million transfer, and he's showing his worth. As I say, he may be the domestic player, but you still play more domestic games than any other kind. And if you get somebody who can fit in as well as Luke McCowan has done, then you have spent well on the money that to bring him from Dundee. So, but what a state Ross County are in now.
Well, Mark said earlier before the show that he fancied a 5 here this afternoon. We were not really that convinced, but it's going to be a long afternoon for Ross County. You'd imagine Celtic, and they've still some big hitters that they can bring on as well. So it's not looking particularly good for him.
The reason I came up with that was obviously the players going into the squad and looking to prove a point, really. Good squad, but Daz touched on it earlier that it wasn't just plucking people from the bench or the stand to play. All these guys have had minutes in recent weeks. They've all contributed well coming off the bench, so they're ready. And you look at Ross County as well. Now, they're doing okay, they're sitting in 8th, but they concede a lot of goals. 22 this season, minus 10 goal difference. Just fancied Celtic, if they got that early goal, that they would go on to win this comfortably.
A goal difference that's now better than Aberdeen's by 20. You know, this is an extra point for Celtic. The goal difference is such so superior to Aberdeen and to Rangers that it's an extra point. So the day is going well for Celtic and Luke McCowan.
It's not going well for the predictions in here for the upsets in the Scottish Cup, because it's now Bankside 0, Hamilton 1, Ollie Shaw on the score sheet, and we've got one of these at Fir Park.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Motherwell 0, Hibs 1. We said he was looking lively. Junior Hoylett on the score sheet, and that is a big goal for David Gray and his side.
Huge goal. And now they really have to show the kind of determination that got them the 3-3 draw with Aberdeen midweek. And we know that defensively, the poor goal difference of minus 10, but they've got something to cling on to here.
We talked about Hibs and their goalkeeping issues. I think this was a bit of a nightmare from Aston Oxborough in the Motherwell goal, though. It was a Nicky Cadden cross. Oxborough came for it, missed the punch, and Junior Hoylett scores.
And I think he's been good for Motherwell too.
He has, Hugh, but I'm just looking at Motherwell have been doing brilliant, right? They're up there, but in the last 5 games they've lost 3. You know, that was disappointing at Ross County last week as well. You can't just get into that wee slump of losing games, because obviously we'll get who's the lad?
Hugh
from
the Motherwell fan.
He will be sitting with our number the now dialing it in. He's ready to come on.
Yeah, did they win that game? They did win that game at home, and Hugh came on, slaughtered Stuart Kettle with his tactics. He was then on, was it last week? Again, not happy. So no ideal start from Motherwell, but
great for Hibs.
But they'll concede. They cannot keep a clean sheet, Hibs. They will concede. Don't worry about that.
Tough gig being a manager here. You know, Hugh, the Motherwell fan, just cannot stand Stuart Kettlewell. And I repeat, the caller last night who said it was a bad result for Rangers to win 4-1 in these.
I think that's a bit disrespectful, because you can give Rangers criticism, league campaign, the way they've been playing, and I keep saying it, they're a bore fest. I wouldn't like to go and watch them. Rangers fans are switching off in the droves. But look, they went away from home and they could have easily racked up 6 or 7 goals. I know that everybody can point at the opposition, but it doesn't matter. You're still away from home. You've got to go and produce, and you've got to give them a bit of credit. Give them a bit of slack. Look, it might be different tomorrow, because I agree, see, when you come back, the one fixture I would not pick is McDermott Park. I don't think it holds well for attractive football for me.
Nobody likes going there, do they?
No,
supporters don't, players don't.
Either St Johnstone away or Ross County away. That's the dread.
I think Ross County, by the way, Hugh, is alright. See the environment, the pitch and that, I think it's okay. I think McDermott Park, though, is difficult. Just everything that saps your energy.
It's terrible,
as soon as you step in. That's why I got beat 7-0 there with Brechin. I thought I can't be bothered.
Nah. Well, he done a good impersonation.
There we are, Brechin ahead in the Scottish Cup.
Brechin 1-0 up against Cowdenbeath. Brad Mackay scoring for the visitors.
The only team I hate more than Brechin is Cowdenbeath. I swear, because that's where I went there with Dumbarton, didn't I, at the end of the season,
Brazil.
And I thought, this is dreadful.
The tyres round
the stock cars or whatever it was started.
At the moment you decided to chuck it.
It was I was warming down the pitch and I heard them and I thought, nah.
I think I've only ever covered one
I was
game.
Right back.
I think I've only ever covered one game there, and Rangers played Cowdenbeath in the Scottish Cup when Stephen Gerrard was in charge, and it was I basically interviewed him in what was like a Portaloo after the game.
Dressing rooms were
dressing
rooms were terrible, weren't it? You used to stand and do three in, 3 out, right? 1 to 3 again and get changed.
That's the dressing room,
4,
actually.
5 and 6 next.
But you remember that you go in and there's like it's divided into 2, so it's an awkward shape. And you have to send the players into one.
I like Central Park. Is it still called Central Park? Can it be called Central Park? Is it?
What did you like about Central Park?
I loved it. Loved the atmosphere. I loved everything about it. Big tyres and the cars getting revved up. I loved it. I loved the scenery.
Stranraer 0, Broxburn Athletic 1. Jonathan Page.
There we go. Wilson's back with his predictions.
If you change your predictions enough, one of them will be right.
Talking of Brechin, Jonathan Page was my captain at Brechin. Here we go.
Was he former Motherwell?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Andrew, great knowledge.
Was he centre half?
Yeah. He was at least a goal a game. For me.
He's the best assist.
By the way, what a guy. School teacher, lovely guy, but could not defend.
I'm sure I'd be delighted to hear what you said about him.
He's giving it to everybody.
I'm joking.
Christmas must be coming up.
Page, he was a great fella.
You've still only get 2 out of the 6 for
2?
The first half teaser.
Is that one wrong there, Hugh?
He's wrong.
That's yours. You're not.
I think do you want to read it out again, Hugh?
Since season 2018-2019, 6 players have scored for Celtic or Rangers and scored for another SPFL team in the same season. Who are they?
People are getting close. I think no one has all 6, but I think someone's got 5 out of 6 so far. Some of the wrong answers coming in. Quan.
Not Quan, no.
He won, Hugh?
No.
I've switched off. I don't know.
Still got a bit of work to do.
I'll wait till the second half teaser. That's when I come alive.
Yeah, I got it again last week. Actually, I forgot you weren't here last week, Hugh. So I was the quiz master, and he got it right away.
Right away. No hesitation.
Amazing, isn't it?
Annoys Gordon, gets under his skin. You can see the rage building up across the desk.
You're never fully away. I get a phone call from a pal of mine last Saturday as I was taking my grandchildren for dinner.
Sorry, Hugh.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Celtic 3, Ross County 0. Paulo Bernardo with the goal this time. So the midfielders that have been brought in are doing the business. Daisen Maeda pulled the ball back into the box. The shot blocked initially, but then tucked in at the second time of asking.
Well, first of all, you pay tribute to Celtic's professionalism. They've had a real tough midweek in the Champions League, and they've gone about their business today in a thoroughly professional manner. Get the job done. Get some players off, put on others, get everybody a bit of game time, and work it that way, because you've got Pittodrie on Wednesday night, and that's a huge match.
Does Brendan Rodgers have a big decision to make in midfield come Wednesday night? Because Arnie Engels has come in for a bit of criticism. You've then got Paulo Bernardo. Fans want to see him. Luke McCowan scored today, set up a goal. Fans want to see him as well.
We've had phone calls here, surprisingly, because I like Hatate. I think he's an excellent footballer, but he's come in for a bit of criticism. Look, I think it's horses for a track. You've just got to look at the.
That'll be horses for courses.
No, I say it differently, Hugh. It's horses for a track. Yeah, I make up my own stuff.
Sorry, speaking of Celtic midfielders,
another one. 5's too little.
M&D Green Pharmacy.
He scored a few from outside the box this season, and he's got
McGregor.
another Callum McGregor on the score sheet, 25 yards out, maybe further than that, and they've got a fourth. You said it would maybe be 5 for Celtic today. It could well be 5 by half time.
Yeah, they're on form today, and I think that was the danger, always the danger for Ross County. When these players are coming into the squad, I think I keep going back to it, they've maybe got something to prove, as in I should be starting. And Hugh's right in mentioning midweek game. It's almost like an addition, a trial to say, look, you cannot leave me out of this squad come midweek. So these Celtic players will be loving it at the minute. Very professional how they've went about their business. Just too quick for Ross County and their thought process.
If you're a Ross County player just now, you're thinking, oh please, hamstring, something go.
What I think will be even worse for the Ross County players is around the 60-minute mark, when they look over to the sideline and see Kyogo, Kuhn, Engels, Hatate potentially getting stripped and ready to come on.
If I was Brendan Rodgers just now, I would just write those boys off. I would just leave them where they are. Give them a rest. Why bring them on for 30 minutes? I'm talking about Kuhn, who's been outstanding this season. You're going to use him, aren't you, in Pittodrie? I would even probably leave Hatate and Kyogo, because it benefits players getting 90 minutes as well. So Adam Ida, I think he could benefit from 90 minutes. Scales, probably another 90 minutes. Definitely McCowan, 90 minutes. It just makes you better, feel more part of it.
But you've got to look at, for instance, the guy who's just scored, the captain. You'd be looking to maybe take him off with one eye in important games coming up. So, but he's got bags on that bench. He'll probably now have that plan, what he's got to use, how he's got to use it, unless obviously there's injuries, you can't count for that. But I tell you, that's impressive. I know Ross County, we all fancy Celtic to win it comfortably if they played, but to be 4 up before even half time, and maybe more, is impressive.
First of all, I said you had to pay tribute to their professionalism. You also have to pay tribute to their hunger and desire. You know, this is still the first half of the game, and they look eager for more goals before the interval. They got a 6 against St Johnstone in Perth. They got a 6 against Aberdeen at Hampden in the Premier Sports Cup. They must surely be well on track for another 6 here today.
It's all happening in the Scottish Cup. Livingston have a second. They're 2-0 up. Tete Yengi with the goal. Queen's Park have equalised against Partick Thistle. Louis Longridge with the goal in that one. And good news for the Bankies, because they've not scored, but Hamish Monroe has been sent off for Bucky Thistle.
The most Scottish guy ever on St Andrew's Day. Hamish Monroe. Early bath.
His wee brother Geordie
couldn't handle the atmosphere.
Geordie Munro? Who's that?
Is that not the song that Wraith Rovers sing? Oh no, wee Geordie Munro.
Never heard of that.
Have you not?
We don't pay
Don't
attention
give
to
him
Wraith
any
Rovers.
more of those chocolate chip cookies.
Aye,
Come on.
St Andrew's Day.
Fraserburgh 1-0 up against Annan. Connor Wood with the goal, because we were talking about Gab's brother playing for Banks of D. I think Gabs is now trying to show off his footballing pedigree. He's just messaged to say that he played with Hamish Munro at uni. Guy that's
Gabs
just been
did?
sent off for Bucky Thistle.
What a claim to fame that is. He'll have another trophy. He'll have a picture of him.
See, if you're like, right, how would you even remember that?
Exactly.
Playing my guy called Hamish Munro. You know, it's not as if
Or maybe he was
I
pally
used to
with
play
him.
with Callum McGregor or something like that.
But surely you remember your teammates though, from who you played with at youth
But I was a
level.
professional footballer.
But
Gabs was
I
running about with a
also
uni team.
don't know how Gabs has any time to message us, because
with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Adam Ida on the score sheet this time. Celtic 5, Ross County 0, about 20 yards out, and one of these as well.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
This one not at Celtic Park, I should add, but it is a big one. Motherwell 0, Hibs 2. It's going right for David Gray today. I think, I'm not quite sure, it was bundled over the line from a corner. I think there was a few players in there. May as well. I think it was Kukarevich that scored.
Well, the most significant goal there is at Fir Park for Hibs to get themselves 2 in front, and look, surely they can't Hibs it from this position and
Famous
let Motherwell
last words.
come back in there. But David Gray, look, I think he deserves a bit of luck. A lot's went against him this season in terms of individual errors. It seems to be going his way this afternoon. Getting to half time, 2-0 up, and he'll feel a relieved man, and he can maybe relax for once.
Man under the cosh, and he's doing the job. They are all doing the job. They're 2 up away from home. As I said about Rangers, there's no way you can take anything away. If you go away from home and score goals, you're doing your job. But the defensive frailty, they need to make sure that doesn't return to haunt them. But it's a fantastic scoreline, not yet a result, fantastic scoreline. And Hearts, as things stand, are bottom of the table.
We did wash over that Celtic 5th goal just because Hibs scored quickly after them, but a brilliant strike it was from Adam Ida to put them 5-0 up.
Just it's a team game, right? But see, when you're a striker and you've scored 4 at home and you're not on that score sheet, it starts to get to you. Let me say, it does start to get to you. But I'll tell you what, he's made up for it. It's a great finish.
Yeah, it was on media duty yesterday. Adam Ida, quite honest, saying that he's actually not really been happy with his season so far, that the start to life as a permanent Celtic player isn't what he was hoping for. And it's actually quite a strange quirk of his goals, because last season pretty much every single goal Adam Ida scored had huge significance to it, winning games, winning trophies. This season he's scoring, and he's scoring at a rate of, I think, a goal every 70 minutes or so. So a very good record. But if you actually look at when the goals are, a lot of them are when Celtic are already 3-0, 4-0 up.
But they all count.
Oh yes, still scoring.
You get 2 at Tynecastle, he's got 1 so far today, and the way the roof has collapsed on Ross County, Celtic last season 6-0 at half time against Dundee. I think it was eventually 7-1. But the hunger, the professionalism, they are simply overwhelming Ross County, and they show no signs of letting up either.
I wouldn't like to be Don Cowie in that dressing room at half time. What do you say to lift these players? Let's win the second half.
That's going to come out. That's coming out. Maybe not for Don, but one of the players, one of these stupid shouts.
It's the only thing you could possibly say, because they are lower than a snake's belly, they players just now. So to try and lift them will be so difficult. They've gone. This could, anything Celtic want this afternoon, this will be.
Well, you remember they took a 6, didn't they? Was it against Rangers? On the season. So not good memories of Glasgow for Don Cowie.
Well, first of all, the way things are going, Mark, first of all, they have to avoid losing double figures. It really does not look good for the league, for the Premiership, if teams are beating other teams by double figures. So I think that's their first target, to avoid that.
when it gets to points in games like this, when a team have scored 5 goals in the first half, people always sort of say about double figures. Just never really happens. Is it just psychologically, subconsciously, the foot comes off the gas?
But Celtic aren't taking their foot off the gas. That's the problem right now. Those who are there, like Adamida, he'll be keen to get more goals. Paulo Bernardo, and obviously enjoyed scoring in front of the Celtic fans who think the world of him. They look keen for more goals. That's the worry for Don Cowie.
I do think that is the issue for Don Cowie, because these players, remember, there is no other games programme for these guys, no reserve football that they get their minutes, so they're getting off the bench sometimes, James Forrest and Ida and McCown, but when they get a start, and you know, Daz will tell you, as a player, you get your nose in front like this, everybody wants a touch of the ball, you want to get in the score sheet. If you're a striker, if you're a winger, you want a couple of assists. And that is the worry, that they'll keep going and they won't take their foot off the pedal.
I think you'll find I had my nose in front of the warm-up.
Don Cowie up against his former manager as well at Watford. Don Cowie was Brendan Rodgers' first ever signing in management.
Is that right?
Yeah, £50,000 from Inverness to
I
Watford.
would be going on chapping Brendan's door and saying, excuse me, could you just let up a little bit here?
Well, you know, Celtic looking to go to Pittodrie and looking to have a pivotal result in the title race on Wednesday night. They're just relentless, remorseless. They will not take their foot off the gas.
Should we wrap up the teaser, Hugh?
Let's do it.
The first half teaser with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Since season 2018-2019, 6 players have scored for Celtic or Rangers and scored for another SPFL side in the same season. They are Luke McCowan, Ewan Henderson, David Turnbull, Scott Wright, Florian Camberry and Kyle Lafferty.
Well, I said it was a tough one, so tough that no one got all 6 answers, but we will do a podium based on how many people got right. This is how tough it was. In third place, Ali Graham with 2 out of 6.
Yeah.
In second place, Amanda Hetherington with 3 out of 6. First place, Derek FM. Well done. 5 out of 6. Didn't get Ewan Henderson, but a good effort from
difficult.
Ewan Henderson's a tough one.
Yeah,
I get that.
That is a tough one. It is half time at Rugby Park. Roger Hannah.
Yeah, Kilmarnock 0, Dundee 0. To be fair, Andrew, we were due a stinker between these two after a couple of 5-goal crackers so far this season, and it has delivered very little in the first 45 minutes. It's actually been a half of 2 halves. Dundee started quite brightly inside 5 minutes. The on-form Josh Mulligan hit the byline, cut it back. Jordan McGee tested the Kilmarnock goalkeeper Robbie McCrory at the near post. From the corner, it was kind of overhit to the back post. The Dundee captain Simon Murray retrieved it, he knocked it back in, and McGee again was there with a header, this time just off target. Lyle Cameron flashed a 20-yard drive past McCrory's post after 8 minutes, with Dundee well on top at that stage. It did take Kilmarnock some time to get into the game. Murray, he was inches away from tapping home Mulligan's cross after 11 minutes, and then tested McCrory again as Tony Docherty said, look for that early breakthrough. Kilmarnock slowly came into the game. Bruce Anderson, who's been added to the attack along with the captain Kelvin Sale and Marley Watkins, he headed wide when he should have hit the target after a decent Watkins cross in 28 minutes. Anderson again was through, but Antonio Portales in with a really good challenge while he was in the ground as Anderson tried to chase down a long clearance from goalkeeper McCrory. Fraser Murray then had a 25-yard free kick easily clutched for the Dundee keeper John McCracken under his bar, and as Kelly finished the half on the front foot, Vassella, a speculative shot from the edge of the box, deflected away to safety. We expect a lot more in the second half. This has been low in quality. Kilmarnock 0, Dundee 0.
No other half times in the Premiership so far. There has been a change in goal for Ross County. Laidlaw off, Hamilton on. There was a challenge. I think the ball was played over the top. Adamida was through and Laidlaw came out. Sliding challenge, won the ball, but I think he's maybe injured himself in the process and is off, and Hamilton is on. So let's see if he can fare any better.
Paid the price for his own commitment, the goalkeeper. He's lost 5 goals so far and must have been dreading the remainder of the match, but he out bravely and he's paid the price. So next goalkeeper please.
5 minutes added at Fir Park. Remember, there was a communications issue. 2 added at Tannadice as well. Still waiting on a half-time from Celtic Park. There was that delay, of course, when they were trying to make that substitution. I think it is half-time now, Gabriel.
Yeah, half-time here. Celtic 5, Ross County 0. Celtic may have made 6 changes. They've nearly had 6 goals in these first 45 minutes. Been a brilliant performance from the champions. Goals all over the pitch as well. Liam Scales was one of the players who did come into the side. He opened the scoring in the 10th minute. A great header came in off the underside of the crossbar from an in-swing Luke McCowan corner. And then it was roles reversed for the second. The Irishman stepping out from the back, lifting the ball over the top to Luke McCowan, who made a darting run from midfield. A touch and finish past Ross Laidlaw. Dyson Maeda had the beating of his man all day on the left wing. He did it again when he pulled the ball back for Paulo Bernardo, whose first shot was blocked, but he tucked the second away comfortably. And a minute later, Andrew, it was 4. You were starting to lose count. This time it was Callum McGregor with a thunderous strike from 25 yards, maybe even further. He looks so dangerous from distance this season. He's got 6 league goals in just 11 games. Then Adam Eder followed his captain's example. A few minutes later, curling the ball in from outside of the box as well. County have been really poor, but Celtic look electric here. This could be anything in the second half. At the interval, it's Celtic 5, Ross County 0.
Yeah, amazingly, that goal actually puts Callum McGregor as the outright top goal scorer in the Scottish Premiership this season.
I was going to say it'd be interesting to hear what tweaks he's made to his game, or as the management said, that the coaching staff said to him, work on this, because they're all very similar.
Yeah.
He gets in that kind of inside right channel, he shifts it onto his left foot, and they're all in the same corner, if it makes sense. So it's certainly something he's added to his game, and there you go, gets him up the scoring charts.
I think he just shoots more. It's simple. You can't add in his game because he's a very, very talented footballer, very intelligent. I think he's just been encouraged by Brendan Rodgers to say, look, when you got on that left foot, believe and hit the target. And it's certainly working and paying dividends.
It shows though you can still add to your game. I mean, he's hugely experienced, played I don't know how many games for Celtic now, retired for international football, yet he's still finding ways to progress as a midfield player. He's been terrific again.
Mark says leave the team as it is and leave the A-listers on the subs bench. What do you say, Dazzler?
I totally take on board what Mark's saying, but you've got people as Yang, people like that still on the bench.
Yang's on the bench, yeah.
You can get him on, you can get him minutes. He's looked lively when he come on. You can use 1 or 2 that maybe need that few minutes. Ralston, for instance, and taking Johnson off. You can take McGregor off, and so you can keep the likes of Kyogo and Kuhn and people like that on the. Look, Brendan Rodgers knows exactly what he's doing here with a Celtic squad, so he'll have it all sussed out.
I was going to say there that they've got such a good squad, and you have to protect against complacency. If it's not going well, you bring on the big hitters like they've done in the past. But it's at times like this you look at the Celtic squad in the Youth Champions League, and Cummings, who scored a hat-trick, was it the other day, scores a couple. It's a prime opportunity to put some of these players in, and you look at the bench and there's no real youngsters on it.
Half time at Fir Park, David Friel.
Yeah, Andrew, half time, Motherwell 0, Hibs 2. The Motherwell fans booing very, very loudly just a second ago. It's not going well for them at all, but it is going well for David Gray and Hibs. They stand on the brink of ending that 9-game winless run. Hibs have had 2 real chances, they've scored 2 goals, and then now have something to hang on to in the second half. Motherwell have been really poor, the boos are understandable, you can't dress it up any other way, but Hibs have been good. They've been in control, they have given nothing away at the back, and they have been lethal at the other end. Junior Hoylett put them ahead in 26 minutes. It was actually the game's first shot on target. Nicky Caddeney's been really good down the left. He threw in across to the back post. Motherwell keeper Aston Oxford came out to punch it. He completely missed it. Hoylett, to be fair, had gambled at the back post and showed great composure. He just cushioned a volley in for a really nice finish. And then 38 minutes, it was 2-0. Nicky Cadden's corner again was flicked on by Eli Yuan. Jack Iredale, he tried to finish at the back post. Motherwell managed to block that effort, but Mikola Kuharevich was in hand to bundle the ball over the line from a couple of yards. Motherwell, as I said, have offered very little. Hibs keeper Jordan Smith, he doesn't look very confident, but he hasn't really had a save to make at all. The home fans are unhappy, but Hibs are chasing 3 points and could be about to come off bottom spot if they can hang on this time. Half time, Motherwell 0, Hibs 2.
We will get the half time story from Tannadice after these.
The fastest goals, the experts' opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Half-time scores in the Scottish Premiership: Celtic 5, Ross County 0, Kilmarnock 0, Dundee 0, Motherwell 0, Hibs 2. We didn't get the half-time story from Tannadice before the break, so let's speak to Dave Galloway now.
Half-time, Dundee United 0, St Mirren 0. Sam Dalby missed a golden chance to score early on for the hosts. He powered in on goal from a ball over the top, but from around 8 yards he blasted wildly over the bar. There was controversy when Saints forward Toyosi Olusanya was cleared out by Jack Walton, who'd raced off his line and out of his penalty box, but the United keeper only got a yellow card, and that wasn't upgraded after VAR took a look. Play has been end to end, but neither goalie has been severely troubled, to be honest. Ryan Strain wasn't far away with a 25-yard curling free kick that went just wide, but the home side went even closer when Will Ferry played a nice 1-2 with Sam Dalby, charged down the left, but his shot from a tight angle hit the post. Saints have seen plenty of the ball in this first half, but haven't posed too much danger. However, Scott Tanser's powerful drive, which was on target, was cleared behind for a corner kick. It's goalless at the interval. Dundee United 0, St Mirren 0.
I'll give you some selected half-time scores from the Scottish Cup third round. Bankside 0, Hamilton 2, Cowdenbeath 0, Brecon 1, Edinburgh City 0, Dunfermline 1, Elgin 1, Kelty 0, Forfar 1, Stirling Albion 2, Fraserburgh 2, Annan 0, Stenhousemuir 1, Irvine Meadow 0, Linlithgow Rose 0, Wraith Rovers 1, Livingston 2, Brora 0, Montrose 2, Peterhead 1, Queen's Park 2, Partick Thistle 1. We'll bring you the second halves next.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard. The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast.
With Lucas Volvo. The full electric range is now available on Motability.
It's cold. It's actually Baltic out there. And I've just seen how much new boots are going to cost me.
Just chill, mate. Well, not literally. I've used PayPal credit for mine, so I could buy now and pay over time.
Oh, good shout. And I might be able to feel my little toes again.
Don't just pay. PayPal.
Representative 23.9% APR variable subject to status. Minimum monthly payment required. Terms apply. PayPal UK Limited.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast.
With Lucas Volvo. Looking to sell your Volvo? Contact them today for a no-obligation quotation.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
A couple of games back underway. I don't think we are yet at Celtic Park. Gabriel, is there sign of any changes?
Yes, Andrew, Celtic just going to make one change. Looks like it's Yang coming on in the place of Dyson Maeda. He's going to play on the left wing. That's the only change. So Celtic will line up as Schmeichel, Johnston, Carter Vickers, Scales, Baye. It'll be Callum McGregor alongside Luke McCowan and Paolo Bernardo in midfield. Yang on one wing, Forrest on the other, and Ida up top. Could have a couple of substitutes for Ross County as well. We know Jack Hamilton has already come on for Ross Laidlaw. Scott Allardyce is coming on as well, as is Nike Efete for the Staggies. And we are just about to get underway again for the second half.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes. With M&D Green Pharmacy. Get advice on keeping infections and viruses away when school returns.
Probably no surprise there, really, that Yang is the one to come on.
Yeah, Dyson Maeda scored a great goal for Celtic midweek against Club Brugge. There's still this game at Pittodrie to come on Wednesday night, so he's done his work. And Yang now gets a full half to show what he can do. The question clearly is how many? How much more do Celtic want? Will the hunger and desire still be there? The full 90 minutes? The professionalism is certainly there. If they want it, they could take the score to an embarrassing level.
Yeah, not surprised by that. Daz called it as well, but a wee bit surprised that Alistair Johnson's still being left on. He's played a lot of football, and you've got Ralston sitting there. I would have been tempted to do that change just now as well, and the rest, they're obviously going to have to come on. I think he'd prefer to have a few younger ones on there that he could have used today, but safety first, I suppose. with the big hitters.
And I'm not surprised Ross County making a couple of substitutions. Unfortunately, they lost their number one goalkeeper just before the interval, but they brought on a couple of players there just to try and see if they can tighten things up, because Celtic are going to come at them. They're looking for more goals. They're hungry this afternoon. Could be a long second half.
See the story about Alistair Johnston during the week has been long listed for the FIFA best 11 along with 22 other defenders.
Well, even if you don't get in, you always have the distinction of being on the list of possibles. So he'd been a great signing for Celtic, and he clearly revels in Glasgow, the rivalry with Rangers. Everything about being here, he has embraced it all.
You can see he's a young lad that he had everything to make it to the top, Andrew, I've got to say.
Was wondering how long it would take for you to claim this one as your work.
And I'm led to believe that he's got to send me another Christmas video just to say Merry Christmas to me this year again.
Couple of changes for Motherwell. I know supporters, Stuart Kettlewell not too happy with the first half performance. Stamatolopoulos and Andy Halliday off. Watt and Robinson on.
They need something, don't they? I like that. If it's not working the first half, see this years ago manager used to wait to 15 minutes in, 20 minutes in and then change it. If you've got a feeling it's not working, you've got to change it. Change it at half time, because it gives you the opportunity to tell the players exactly what you're wanting, what you're demanding of them, and let's see if they can get a response, Motherwell.
The expression that David Friel used at half time was that the Motherwell fans had been booing very loudly. Those two words, very loudly, tell you that unless they can get something out of this match, we're going to have calls at 5 o'clock.
Let's do this, Hugh.
This is a paid advertisement from BetterHelp. We're probably all guilty of not taking enough moments in our life to say thank you to someone important, someone who makes a difference. For me, of course, I've got family and friends I can speak to, but what about the family in here? As much as we get nonsense from the likes of Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel on this show, it is really important, seriously, to take a moment and realise the difference having a laugh with your friends can make and escape whatever else is going on. So I'd like to shout out to them both and all the other pundits in the show for keeping me and hopefully you entertained every night. And this month with BetterHelp, it's all about gratitude. So along with the likes of Mark and Daz, the other person we don't get to thank enough is ourselves. So here's a reminder to send some thanks to the people in your life, including yourself, because you're listening to the Super Scoreboard podcast. You're obviously already got pretty sound judgment. Remember to tell yourself that there are so many benefits to using BetterHelp for therapy. It's not just for people who've experienced serious trauma in their lives. There are great tips for learning positive coping skills, how to set boundaries, and just be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. With over 5,000 therapists in the UK already, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a wide variety of expertise in mental health. Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/SSB. That's betterhelp.com/SSB.
It's cold. It's actually Baltic out there. And I've just seen how much new boots are going to cost me.
Just chill, mate. Well, not literally. I've used PayPal credit for mine, so I could buy now and pay over time.
Oh, good shout. And I might be able to feel my little toes again.
Don't just pay. PayPal.
Representative 23.9% APR variable, subject to status. Minimum monthly payment required. Terms apply. PayPal UK Limited.
The second half teaser.
With the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have played alongside Kasper Schmeichel, Charlie Adam and Mark Wilson. I have been managed by Paul Lambert and Neil Warnock. I was capped for Scotland in spite of never having played there. So, I played alongside Kasper Schmeichel, Charlie Adam and Mark Wilson. I've been managed by Paul Lambert and Neil Warnock, and I was capped for Scotland in spite of the fact I never played there.
Well, remember, earlier on in the show you said, how does Gabs remember the players he played with? They're now testing your knowledge, Mark.
Okay, I see what you've done there, right? Okay.
I'll tell you where you get down. It's St Andrew's Day today. There'll be a wee link to that.
St Andrew's Day?
Today.
He's been capped for Scotland even though he's never played there. Is that what you said there?
Yep.
Is his name Andrew?
No.
Right, I'm just saying St. Andrew. Is his name Saint?
No.
If his name was Andrew, and you'd given the game away straight away.
There's no chance his name was Andrew. Let's be honest about it.
But yes, remember, at Clyde SSB, it is a race. Get your answers in as quickly as possible. One name, one tweet.
Come on,
Easy
man, you
as that.
should get that. An ex-teammate, Neil Warnock, and who was the other one? Paul Lambert.
Yep.
Never played in Scotland.
Yep.
Oh, come on.
Nah.
A half chance for Hibs, who are looking to go 3-0 up against Motherwell. Kukurevich it was. And that, if the boos were loud for Motherwell in the first half, if it had gone 3-0 just after half time, imagine what it would have been like.
The ground empties, and those who remain only remain to give Stuart Kettlewell terrible abuse. But for David Gray, he's now more than halfway towards what would be a tremendous fillip for them to get that win, to put Hearts bottom of the table. That's one thing that would also add to the enjoyment for the Hibs fans. Hearts tomorrow against Aberdeen, what a match that promises to be.
Nicky Cadden into the side netting now. It's all Hibs at the start of the second half. They are 2-0 up against Motherwell. More boos, says David Friel.
Well, you might get a repeat of last week's programme. As I say, Super Scoreboard never leaves you. I'm walking the streets of Brighton taking my grandchildren for their Saturday dinner, and a pal of mine phoned and said, somebody's just phoned Super Scoreboard from inside Ibrox while the game was
that was entertaining.
That was brilliant. It really was. To be fair, to get the best of order, everybody was quiet round about.
4 for 2, Stirling Albion 2, Russell Maclean on the score sheet.
Wilson's
you got it.
Produced.
You got it.
He's on fire.
Don't read it out.
He doesn't even know who that is.
You didn't play with him.
Of course I did. You need to think outside the box.
It's not easy when you don't have help, is it?
So to speak.
Listen, I struggle when I can't cheat. I'm totally honest with that. I struggle when I can't cheat. I confessed to the boys last week. I cheat, and I've got a great saying.
Your second
cheaters always win.
Your second half.
True. That is true.
Yours
very rarely lose, did it?
Exactly. Well, my second half teaser.
I say your own second half teaser now is to work out where Mark played with this player.
I know,
and for everyone else,
because I know his clubs, and I don't think this player played at Dumbarton, right? But I don't think
played with many gifted players throughout my career.
Did they say the same about you?
Of course, they were all fortunate to play alongside me. Yeah.
My goodness,
that stumped you, hasn't it?
I'm going to show Mark something just in case that's where it was, because that's the only place I can think.
Yes.
Is it?
There we go. He's solved it. Pretty quiet start. Pretty quiet start to the second halves, apart from at Fir Park, where Hibs are looking good. 2-0 up against Motherwell. Well, that would be a huge result for David Gray.
Yeah, as I say, football's about rivalry. If you get your first win in 10 matches and you put your biggest rivals to the bottom of the league table, that's a good day.
Yeah,
they need it, Hugh, because looking at Celtic's afternoon, Hibs go there next.
Yeah,
you wouldn't think they'll get anything at all, and that would just lump pressure on. If he gets it is a good result so far, but if he can see it out, and Mark's right, you never know with Hibs. All of a sudden, this is a Hibs team that if Motherwell score a goal, they would start to panic. But so far, you've got to say it's been a good day for them.
I wonder when David Gray starts to enjoy the game, because
if
you're 2 up and you're getting into the last 5 minutes, usually managers would think job done, brilliant. Not with Hibs, the amount of late goals they concede, the amount of calamitous goals they concede. I think you're right, had to be the full time whistle. You're relaxed.
I done that in the Scottish Cup, 3-0 up, and I'm thinking, I wonder where we'll get in the next round. I hope we got a big club. We get beat 4-3. It was horrific.
I wish I knew you back in those days. I would
tactical
be first
genius.
on the phone to you.
Tactical genius. Well, they've been on the phone congratulating me on a lot of things I achieved. Manager of the months and everything.
Manager of the month.
Yeah.
They didn't even have them.
Yes, it did.
No, they didn't.
Yes, it did. You can go and check it. Roger Hanna will tell you.
Early 2000s, they were talking about.
Yeah, I was flying then. I was beating Premier League teams left, right, and centre.
And the trophy. Did you get a trophy for
my
it?
record stands for itself. No, you didn't get a trophy there.
Well, Andrew, type in Mark Wilson Manager of the Month. You'll see me with a trophy.
Or did I get a trophy? Or did I don't know.
Well, obviously,
I
you didn't.
I'll be in the skip those days.
With the medals.
Best dress manager.
Individual
best dress
honours
manager. Aye.
for Gordon Dalziel. First Division Manager of the Month, November 97, March 2001, February 2002, and once in the Second Division, August 1996.
Four. Where was it? Fifth.
I take it all back.
Thank you. But
I mean, that is a top manager across all divisions.
I should have been at the top of the tree. It was just a Saturday spoiled it for me.
Good Monday to Friday.
Monday to Friday. I was the best manager and coach you ever seen in your life.
Here you go. Here's your photo, Mark.
Hey.
Ladbrokes League One Manager of the Month.
Yeah.
Who with?
It's good, isn't it?
See
that?
Well, half of that's mine.
Half of that's yours. You never set foot on the pitch.
I've got to say, you've lost a bit of weight since that photo.
Starting a bit chunky back in those days. I wasn't doing so much running.
I don't remember you like that.
Aye, round face.
Were you a scoffalo?
Hugh's now coming round to have a look.
Aye, it was a wee bit.
Is he a wee bit chunky monkey?
Just ran a bit the face.
Tubster,
was he?
I was just after I'd retired and found junk food and started eating a lot of it alongside beer. You know what happens after that?
The kebab shop come in. Majesty.
Oh yes.
Adamida hits the woodwork, heads off the sort of junction of the bar and the post from a corner. Celtic almost getting a sixth.
Has Casper Schmeichel touched the ball?
Doesn't look like.
I don't even think he come in the second half. I think he's still in the dressing room.
By the way, your appearance at Kirkcaldy last week must have inspired your old side. 3-0 up.
Yeah, I gave a
Dylan Easton.
How'd it go?
I gave a great talk, mate. I really did. I was so proud of myself. Do you know, for the first time in my life, in the fell for it, I was humble, right? I was sort of saying, I hope the present team can go on and achieve what obviously I achieved, which there's absolutely no chance. Everybody in the hall's going, oh, he's very humble. I'm thinking there's no chance that's happening.
Was there any current squad there at the dinner, or was it the?
Oh, the manager was there.
The manager,
the current manager was there.
What's his name?
Gaffer.
Neil Collins.
Neil. Big
I
Neil.
played with Neil.
Did you?
Aye.
He looks.
So Neil came to Scotland. Was it 21s? And he was a player that was never part of the squad. You know, you never seen him through the 16s, the 17s, the 19s. He was a late developer, and he came in. And we were all kind of pals. And he came in as a big centre half. He was doing boys in training. He was.
Who did he play with that time, Mark?
Well, that is a good question. I'm not sure who he played for. Oh, I think down south, maybe Sunderland. Was he down south at Sunderland? So one of those Scottish boys that was across the border and came up, and he was busy in training. He had a decent career after that.
Yeah, he was there, nice lad. I enjoyed my day. We Sunday afternoon. You can't beat a Sunday afternoon. So lovely to catch up with the boys. The class of '94. And
one Coca-Cola cup, and he's speaking like the United team that won the Champions League. The class of '94.
It was lovely to join up.
Was there footage showing in that in the background?
Yeah. Oh, what a scene. Everybody stood up.
Everybody
applauded my 30-yard goal.
That's embarrassing.
Kilmarnock's best spell of the game, McCracken with a save, Portales with a block, both in quick succession. Still goalless.
Roger Hanna hit it on the head at half time when he said we were due a stinker. The goal laden matches in the 3 that they've played in the last 8 weeks, but apparently this ain't one of them.
Is Dundee United St Mirren still 0-0?
Still goalless, yeah.
Well, I was expecting goals there. I thought it'd have been a really, really good game. Come on, and Dundee, you're right. In the past games have been excitement, goals, drama. We're getting nothing.
Alex Vai should make it 6. A lovely team move, but a save from Jack Hamilton, who is in goal for Ross County. So that'll be 2 Ross County goalkeepers that have touched the ball more than Casper Schmeichel today.
Well, it speaks for Celtic's enthusiasm. They're still going at it, still looking for more goals. Long way to go in the game. You'd imagine the Ross County players, the longer the game goes, must drop down in terms of their fitness.
See, in terms of Schmeichel, would you have been tempted to change him? Bring Sinisalo on at half time just for 45 minutes?
Well, no one's clapped eyes on Sinisalo at all.
I just wondered.
Do you know something? That's a good point, just to give them a feel for it, a bit of game time. Saying that, you wouldn't get much game time because they're not really touching the ball much, so
there's going to be 2 changes for Celtic. Any guesses?
Ralston.
Yes.
And hold on.
I'll go
Trusty
Hatate.
Arnie Engels.
Who
was, well, Brendan Rodgers was sort of defending him yesterday. He's faced a bit of criticism, hasn't he, for his recent displays, of course, with an £11 million price tag. The expectations are going to be high, but essentially saying sort of write him off at your peril, noting what Nicholas Kuhn has done, which I think is a more relevant example than Paulo Bernardo. I don't remember Bernardo being written off too much at the start of his Celtic career, but certainly Nicholas Kuhn has come on leaps and bounds.
The big problem is the fee, and I know that Brendan Rodgers quite rightly said the player doesn't set the fee. However, people get it into their heads, £11 million, the most that Celtic have ever paid for any player in their history, and they can't get that sum of money out of their heads. But Arne Engels has already shown his quality in a Celtic jersey. He then had 2 or 3 games where he's not been at his best, but people aren't supermen, game in, game out, and I think it's right to bring him on now and let him relax into this game, get some more minutes before he probably starts the game at Pittodrie on Wednesday.
Alistair Johnson off and Callum McGregor is the one coming off for
sensible.
Celtic.
I think that's sensible. I think Hugh's right about Engels. I mean, I don't see the big story. He's a player who's went there, started very well, but he's still young and he's just went off the boil a bit. I don't think anybody's writing him off or anything like that. I think it's only right that people make observations that, that's why we're here to kind of give our opinion when players are playing well, because we were quick to say Engels looks a real player, he started really well. So when he doesn't play so well, they've got the options on the bench, and you make a case for maybe Bernardo coming in, I think that's only fair. I don't think anyone's saying that, what a waste of money this guy is and he's never going to amount to anything. So I think Engels long term be a very good signing for Celtic, but he's never going to play well every week, like Hugh says.
Yeah, he's a young lad just getting used to Scottish football. He got off to a good start. I think that there's a great saying in football, you can tell a player. You can look at Bernardo as well. You can look at Bernardo and you go, he's got everything in his locker to be a top player. Engels is the same. He's young, he's come in. The pressure was always on him. It was a heavy burden, because that price tag, as much as you're not in control of it, it's always there. You're always getting labelled with it. I think he'll going to be a real good signing for Celtic.
When I think back to the 2 games in which Celtic have scored 6 goals this season, the game against St Johnstone in Perth and against Aberdeen at Hampden, Engels played terrifically well in both of those games and scored in both of those games. He is a real talent. Things happen. I watched Liverpool Real Madrid. Mbappe misses a penalty at one end, Salah misses a penalty at the other end. Does that mean they've suddenly become bad players?
Sam Dalby with a header that was easily saved for Dundee United. Then at the other end, Dolasanya shoots through a ruck of players, deflected out for a corner. Sam Dalby's on a good run, isn't he? I think five in his last 6 he's got.
Good player, and I was going to say a good finish at Ibrox, but it wasn't really a good finish, was it? In terms of straight at Butland, I don't know what happened there, but he's been a good find from Jim Goodwin. Scores plenty of goals.
Yeah, Tuyosi Olasanya as well, mentioned him. He's one of 2 players at St Mirren out of contract at the end of the season that they're trying desperately to keep, along with Richard Taylor, who both of them big parts of that St Mirren team, but Stephen Robinson admitting that may not be able to keep a hold of them. Will be 2 big losses, but Stephen Robinson is used to players leaving and having to replace them.
Everyone, outside the main clubs, the Celtic, Rangers, Aberdeen, everyone has to get used to they come, they go. But like the Dazzler, I'm a bit surprised that there's not a goal at Tannadice. You would have thought by this stage the deadlock would have been broken.
Yeah, surprise no goals at Rugby Park either. Kilmarnock well on top, says Roger Hanna. Indaba and Anderson have both had efforts deflected wide.
Well, we were highlighting the attacking formation that Derek set up this afternoon, all set up for goals, and against a Dundee team that with past history serves up plenty of goals, as we've seen in the past. And so far, nothing for Roger to be shouting about.
Oh, there you go, Hugh. Clydebank 1, Bucky Thistle 0, Nicky Little on the score sheet.
It would have to be Nicky Little. He is the definition of prolific for the Paper Hankies.
They are up against 10 men.
Yep, you can only keep your fingers crossed. I asked,
is he your favourite player, Hugh? Be Nicky Little?
He's the best Clydebank player.
Is he?
Yeah.
Who's the other ones that are decent?
All of them. I asked Gordon Duncan when he was presiding over the draw, he'd get his Partick Thistle, and he got his Bucky Thistle. But I've still got my fingers crossed for Clydebank Partick Thistle in the next round.
Well, speaking of Partick Thistle, they've just equalised against Queen's Park. It's 2-2, a Will Tizard own goal. Is that the dream draw, Partick Thistle?
Well, the dream draw would be Celtic or Rangers, but Partick Thistle would be
and Clydebank.
No, they wouldn't have it there.
No, we do not have it there, Hugh. No, obviously change the fixture.
Where would Clydebank change your fixture to?
It's obviously like Airdrie or somewhere or Broadwood, isn't it? It's one of these stadiums.
Fir Hill would be.
Well, yeah,
Fir Hill.
Yeah, good thinking.
Yeah, good price.
You could just post it out in the car park here.
Clydebank went to play Celtic, and I'm talking 50 years ago, so don't all rush at once. And we were newly married and went to the game because we knew all the Banky boys. And it was at Celtic Park, and I'm talking Danny McGrain, Kenny Dalglish, the whole thing. And Clydebank scored first. And my new wife really didn't know anything about football, but she knew the team in green and white were Celtic. And she knew that her pals were playing on the other side.
I've got.
And she jumped up, and the language, a bit choice. And one just basically said, "Sit down, hen." But there were lots of other words in there as well.
I've used that phrase for years here. This is my new wife.
The difference is I've still got mine. The same one who jumped up and Clydebank scored.
Yeah.
Adam Ida forces a good save from Jack Hamilton, who's had to be a bit busy since coming off the bench for Ross Laidlaw. But
surprised that Celtic haven't scored again. Tends to happen in games, doesn't it?
Yeah.
5-6, and then it seems to go. Is that down to the fact that Ross County just go deeper and deeper and deeper and sit with everybody behind the ball? Don't even try and get out and say, do you know what, you need to try and break us down.
Or is it subconsciously, you're 5 up? I mean, as I say, the hunger is still there, but they're just that little.
Already thinking about what they're going to have for dinner.
Yeah,
I think sometimes you then try and work the perfect goal. Whether if you see some of the goals in the first half, and Ida and McGregor, and they're taking their opportunities for distance, I think that kind of helps.
Just
you
allows you to be more patient, doesn't it, when you've got that lead?
Yeah, but I mean, the goalkeeper still worked. They've still had plenty of opportunities to add to it. Just a couple of good saves.
Do you want to give us the teaser again, Hugh?
Yep. Once I remember what I've done with it. Right. I have played alongside Casper Schmeichel, Charlie Adam and Mark Wilson. I have been managed by Paul Lambert and Neil Warnock. I was capped for Scotland in spite of the fact I never played here.
Looking to see if there are many wrong answers or just some of the answers coming in. Craig says Ikechi Anya.
No.
Ian says Jamie Mackey.
No.
And I'm seeing a few correct guesses in there as well, so some people are doing all right.
Did you ever play with Ikechi Anya?
I certainly did not, Hugh. No.
Or Jamie Mackey?
No, they were after my time. I think I'd hung the boots up by then, unfortunately.
Well, remember Mark Wilson's in there as a clue.
Someone else has said Lewis Carey.
Lewis Carey, what a guy! I did play with him at Bristol City. Lewis Carey was the captain at Bristol City. Proper Bristol accent, absolute hero down there.
Never heard of him.
Whoa, what a character he was. You would have loved him.
It's quite a rogue guess. I mean, is the player has to have played for Scotland? Was that part of the question?
Yeah. Never played football in this country, but did play for Scotland.
Lewis Carey played one cap for Scotland under 21s.
I was going to say he did have Scottish grandparents or something like that.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Kilmarnock 0, Dundee 1, and it's Lyle Cameron. So Tony Docherty, as it stands, getting the better of Derek McInnes.
Well, as I said earlier on, Kilmarnock are only 3 points above Hearts and Hibs, who are, at the moment, Hibs are about to join Kilmarnock on 12 points.
I think Hibs leapfrog them in goal difference.
Yeah. Do they really?
Yeah. Yep.
Well,
what a day this could be for the Hibs.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they were sitting there, after that 3-3 draw, taking a bit of, encouragement, and they could be sitting in 10th by the end of the afternoon.
Totally against the run of play, says Roger Hannett.
That's allowed.
It had been all Kilmarnock, but 1-0 to Dundee. There's going to be another change at Celtic Park. Luke McCowan's afternoon is over. Rayo Hatate comes on.
Well, you're now talking about Hatate on the park, Engels, Arne Engels and Paulo Bernardo. That's some midfield.
Clydebank 2, Bucky Thistle 0, Nicky Little from the penalty spot. So Clydebank look as if they'll be in the draw for the fourth round of the Scottish Cup. Dunfermline should be as well. They're 2-0 up against Edinburgh City. Matthew Todd scoring for them.
Another one of my ex-players, Matthew Todd, good player. Good for the Bankies.
A few players there.
A few ones that have went on to do well. Yeah.
Everybody in that teleprinter that comes up, one of my ex-players.
Connections everywhere.
Played with everyone, managed
Played
everyone.
With everyone, managed them.
Yeah, you've been busy. That's one thing about you.
What are we? It is around 15 minutes or so to go in the Premiership matches. What late drama could we be in for? None at Celtic Park.
Go at Tannadice, I bet you. I don't know which way though.
Got to be a Kilmarnock equaliser.
Think so, Hugh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone.
I'm with Mark. I think we've got to get a goal at Tannadice. I think that two teams will go for it.
Hibs on their way to 3 points, do you reckon?
Well, as everyone agrees, what a great day. You could possibly leapfrog two teams. Hearts could go bottom of the league because you put them there, and you really do feel good about the day. And Hearts against Aberdeen will be very spicy tomorrow because the Hearts crowd, they've already sacked Stephen Naismith. Neil Critchley, if you look at all the games he's played, how many has he won? And a home defeat tomorrow would not go down well on top of what happened in Belgium midweek.
You're not putting him under pressure already, are you?
I don't think
it's way too early. Way too early for that.
No, it's not Christmas.
Right, when I said Stephen Naismith would lose his job, you all laughed.
But hold on a minute. Stephen Naismith, how long was he manager at Hearts?
But
he'd been in post for a while, and it was before Christmas, you said? So you gave it a longer time scale.
Yeah,
Neil Critchley's been in the job, a month?
And he's not had one transfer market. So, look, Hearts shouldn't be down there with the squad they've got, but you're not going to bring a manager in and then just get rid of him without even giving a transfer market.
If you think you get relegated, you will.
Yeah, well, I don't think they will. I think that they've obviously brought him in faith, and I think they're prepared to give him time. Look, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. It could beat Aberdeen. I thought they played well Thursday night, I've got to say, and I think they deserve something out of the game, so they can take a bit of encouragement from that. They're at home tomorrow. Aberdeen are under a wee bit pressure, not in the fact of league situation, but because of everybody was praising them about the start of the run, is beginning the season. Can they be up there? Can they challenge Celtic? Can they finish second above Rangers? And all of a sudden they're going into the game tomorrow, and if they get beat, they've got 1 point out of the last 9. So there's a bit of pressure on the game for both teams for me.
Oh yeah. I mean, Jimmy Thielen, he's drawn 3-3 on Wednesday night with the team who were bottom of the league at that time. Now he's going to play the team who are bottom of the league tomorrow, and as you say, if he loses to them, it's 1 point in 9, and you've lost to two teams who were bottom of the league when you played them.
St Mirren and Dundee United making changes in pursuit of the opening goal in that game. Jonah Ayunga is coming on for Toyosi Olasanya. Dundee United changes Molt on for Dalby and Van der Sande on for Glenn Middleton.
Van der Sande's one that's never really caught the eye. Doesn't look like he gives much to the team, but Molt is someone who is right up there in terms of can grab you a winner. So, interesting finish to the game at Tannadice.
Ooh, almost an own goal from Akio Wright. Ross County there hit his own bar. Goes out for a Celtic corner.
Well, you couldn't accuse Celtic of having lost interest. They've peppered the goal with shots. The substitute goalkeeper has had some terrific saves from Adam Ida, Alex Valle, and now his own teammates shooting at him. But as Daz said, it's funny how often it happens. 5-0 at half time, and it's still 5-0, and the game's nearly over.
If you're Don Cowie, you're actually standing there reasonably pleased now, because at half time you're thinking this could be double figures if they keep going the way they're going. But he's organised a little bit better, made a few substitutions, lost his goalkeeper, which was a big blow to them, but so far they've kept Celtic out in the second half, and he'll get in and he'll say, look, we drew 0-0 with Celtic second half, we've got to take confidence from that.
Peyton and Abiye coming on for Motherwell, Campbell and Gale for Hibs.
Well, if Motherwell can sneak one back, then that really is testing times. If they can't, then maybe shows Hugh, the Motherwell fan, was on the right lines in terms of performance and that catching up with him, because that was his point, that when Motherwell won a couple of weeks ago, that the performances will catch up with you, and that's a worry. But I mean, sure, Kyle will look at the league. He's sitting there in 5th place at the minute, so no disaster.
Well, that would be, what would that be, 2 in the last 6. They've lost 4 out of 6, and they got 2 away games coming up. I think it's Dundee and then St Mirren, which are difficult because Dundee are beating Kilmarnock this afternoon. St Mirren's always a difficult place to go and get a result. But you're right, Mark, he's sitting there in the top 6, and you would have taken that long before the season started.
St Mirren would drop into the bottom 6 if Dundee won that match. It would be a right good day for Tony Docherty.
Yeah, I think just on that Hibs game, David Friel was saying Hibs are looking pretty comfortable at the moment. Motherwell really not creating anything, any sort of danger. But you do wonder, just given the state that Hibs are in at the moment, if Motherwell manage to nick one, then it may rattle Hibs a bit. Yeah,
just fragile, Andrew, at the back. And I guess we've been there before. When you think everything's going against you, you just don't want to get too comfortable and you concede one and you collapse. So 15 minutes rolled out.
But it doesn't sound like Motherwell are coming anywhere near to a goal.
Oh, this could be interesting.
VAR review with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Penalty check for Dundee United. Penalty given. So they will have the chance from the spot to take the lead over St Mirren.
He'll put it away.
Does he take the penalty catch?
I don't know, but I'm going to say if you were a striker, you'd grab the ball, wouldn't you?
All day. Yeah, that's your responsibility. Yeah, that's you take the glory. Get the ball down, put it in the back of the net. Job done. You can look at the other players and say, I've done my job.
I'm the hero.
Yeah. I'll be headlines.
That penalty hasn't even been taken yet, and we've got one of these elsewhere.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Kilmarnock 1, Dundee 1.
Well done,
youngster Bobby Wales off the bench, onto the score sheet, high into the net. And is it going to be another draw between Kilmarnock and Dundee like we saw last season, or is there going to be a winner late on in that one?
They're finished, they're done.
You think so?
Yeah.
I've got sneaky, if they're going to be a winner, it'll be Kilmarnock. Home advantage, plenty of attacking players, get a wee lift.
Kevin Holt steps up to take the penalty for Dundee United.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. Dundee United have the lead over St Mirren. It's all happening in the last few minutes.
Well,
yeah.
Do Dundee United join Rangers in terms of points?
Yes.
They went to.
Well, yeah. 23 points if it stays that way, Hugh. Just behind in goal difference.
Yeah, goal difference would only be two worse off.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. You've got to say from Dundee United this season, don't think any of is expected them to be this high in the table. I had them for a top 6 finish, I think, but I thought they might come good late in the season. Didn't think they'd start this well. So if it stays that way, very good 3 points again.
Alex Valle is going to come off and Greg Taylor on.
Good use of the squad.
Yeah.
You know, I wonder then what that means for midweek. Who'll occupy that position?
The big story about Alex Valle was yesterday when Barcelona said they were quite happy with the way he was progressing at Celtic and would not be recalling him in January. So Celtic can look forward to having the choice of Alex Valle or Greg Taylor, and I always stand up for Greg Taylor. I think he's a whipping boy for some Celtic fans. I don't think he lets the club down at all. We had someone last night on Super Scoreboard who said he's not up to the Champions League level. Unfair, because Celtic as a team have done well in the Champions League this season, and Greg Taylor's been part of it.
Stranraer 1, Broxburn Athletic 1, Elliot Dunlop with the goal.
How's Banksy D? They still
2-1.
They pulled a goal back. I think they are 2-1 down to Hamilton. So
I take it takes a time.
Potential for an
they've
upset,
not got
maybe if
floodlights,
there's any
have
late drama.
Yeah, that was your theory in the last round.
No floodlights.
No floodlights. I think they do. I hope they do, because it'll be dark by the time my game is finishing tomorrow.
Interestingly, Roger Hanna's pointed out that Alejandro Balde, who is the Barcelona left back, sustained an injury today against Las Palmas, and you do wonder if that proves to be a significant injury, whether that may change the loan status of Alex Valle.
I was going to say, do you go back on your word? But
no,
it's football we're talking about.
They'll have about 20 other left backs in there, Barcelona.
Yeah. They just don't have one.
But he was involved in pre-season for Barcelona, played a couple of games for them. Certainly you'd expect would be an option that they'll think about, and a club like Barcelona probably wouldn't think twice about how it affects Celtic. If they need a player and they feel he's a better option, whether it is just to come back and sit on the bench and someone else plays, or whether they think he can go in and play, then you wonder if it could change the situation.
Brendan Rodgers would rather that it didn't change the situation, because I think Alex Valle offers him a very clever option when Greg Taylor has to be replaced, or whether he starts in preference to Greg Taylor. So he'd much rather he stayed.
Good game between Elgin City and Kelty Hearts. Kelty Hearts have pulled it back to 3-2. Ross Cunningham from the penalty spot. 4 minutes to go in that game for Kelty Hearts to try and get an equaliser. Force that one to extra time.
How is Partick in Queen's Park still
2-2
deadlocked?
2-2.
2-2.
Yeah, so there's definitely going to be some either late drama or
floodlights.
That would be a shot, that one, Elgin, would it not? Elgin top of the League 2, but Kelty top of League 1, so good result for Elgin.
Bucky Thistle have actually had 2 red cards now
against hooligans.
Clydebank.
That wee pub across the road, they must know they're doing a happy hour. I've told the Bucky players happy hour and they love it.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Motherwell 0, Hibs 3. Josh Campbell on the score sheet. It gets even worse for Motherwell and even better for David Gray.
Now he can relax, can't he?
Oh, completely. This is Christmas come early for David Gray.
Fir Park emptying, says David Friel.
Hearts bottom of the league, Hibs up to 10th place. Stuart Kettlewell is let's be honest, Hibs were everyone's idea of the worst team in the Premiership, and they've just won 3-0 at your place, and the ground's emptying. So you as the manager are going to get it in the neck.
Well, we can make one prediction. Hugh will be on the phone tonight. That is the biggest prediction we can make.
Yeah,
Motherwell fans, obviously I live there, local celeb hero, and when I'm going about the town, a lot of them have been. I like Stuart Kettlewell. I think he's doing a really good job sitting up there in the top 6 and losing players, but get plenty of back in the summer. You know, brought a lot of players in, and good players at that. Had 1 or 2 injuries to key players, but he's just they've went off the boil. Let's say they've went off the ball, and they've got 2 difficult away games now.
Look at it this way: it's a bad day, a very, very bad day, but they're still 10 points in front of Hearts.
Who said Hibs have goalkeeping issues? The goal came from a long punt from Jordan Smith.
An assist.
The old days.
Like that, eh?
The old days. Get it in the mixer.
Yeah. Go away, short step, shortcut steps, hoof it.
Probably is wise for just a Hibs goalkeeper at the moment, just to try and get the ball as far away from your goal as possible at any opportunity.
Plus the fact, you've got to look right. You're talking about the goalkeeper there, and they have got problems. See if he gets a clean sheet. It's amazing the confidence that gives you. So give them a bit of credit. I know we give them a bit of criticism when they deserve it, but all credit to Hibs today.
Oh, so it's not actually an assist from the goalkeeper. I think he punted it up to Dwight Gale, who must have played it on to Josh Campbell. But anyway, he was involved. Greg Taylor hits the post for Celtic, still unable to add to that 5-0 lead they went into the break with.
Well, they've hit the woodwork 3 times in the second half, so it's not as if they've taken their foot off the gas, just they're yielding the same results in terms of goals. Second period,
Brendan Rodgers can be nothing other than extremely happy with the way the day has gone. He's moved players in and out, and he's got 5 goals and 5 different goal scorers, and the goal difference is now way out of sight of anyone else, and he's 14 points ahead of Rangers, and he's 5 points ahead of Aberdeen, and they have to go to Tynecastle tomorrow, and so on and so forth, and then they meet on Wednesday. So everything, domestically speaking, is going Brendan Rodgers' way.
We'll wrap this up in case there's any late drama.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have played alongside Casper Schmeichel, Charlie Adam and Mark Wilson. I have been managed by Paul Lambert and Neil Warnock. I was cap for Scotland in spite of the fact I never played here. I am Barry Bannon.
Barry Bannon, who of course played with Mark Wilson for Scotland.
Yep.
Where did they play with Paul Lambert?
Was managed by Paul Lambert.
Whereabouts? Norwich, you never played with them. Did Lambert manage Sheffield?
He was in Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, and then Neil Warnock was Crystal Palace. Third place, Rin. Second place, Greg's Gardens. But first place, quickest off the mark, Jamie Dock. Congratulations to you.
Yeah, good one that. Got the same kind of hair as yourself, but you're getting that sorted. Same kind of.
Who has? Barry Bannon?
Aye.
Then we'll go for a 2 for 1. Sort that out.
A late goal for Cove Rangers over Inverness. Declan Glass from the penalty spot. So it looks as if they will be going through to the 4th round of the Scottish Cup. Musselburgh Athletic as well, 3-1 up against Bo'ness United now.
It's a blow for Inverness that, because in the next round of the Cup, they're a team that could do with the finances.
Dumbarton got through to the next round, and they're in a similar sorrowful position.
Oh yeah, producer Chris has sent me some audio. So apparently it's not the first time we've had Barry Bannon as an answer on the teaser. I have no idea what this audio is.
There can't be many of these that have played for Scotland. Double barrel surname.
Oh, Barry Bannon. Is it now?
That's not what double barrel means.
Barry Bannon.
Do you know I was thinking the exact same thing? See there, I was thinking the exact same thing as that. Right, okay, producer Chris.
Penalty to Dundee United.
Yes.
They've got a chance to double their lead from the spot. You'd expect Kevin Holt will take that. Louis Moult brought down by Fraser, so they could wrap up 3 points against St Mirren. Adam Ida's forced another good save out of Jack Hamilton, who seems as if he's had a good second half.
Right, yeah, done okay.
5 minutes added at Rugby Park, so I wonder if we could get a late winner between Kilmarnock and Dundee. Ayr United are 2-0 up against Morton. Jamie Murphy scoring, so they will be in the 4th round of the Scottish Cup.
And when is the 4th round draw?
Tomorrow.
Is it?
Can it be? After the East Kilbride Falkirk game
Monday night. Oh, that'll be good.
May not be a penalty to Dundee United. It's gone to VAR. as Moses Ibiye hits the post for Motherwell.
Well, it's too late for Motherwell anyway.
Only 86 minutes gone, David Friel says.
Even Hibs couldn't blow this. 3-0 up. Even the cabbage and ribs could not blow this.
We will see. It certainly looks as if there is a few things happening at the tail end of the games today. Remember, the open line will be here after full time in all these games. 01419511025 on the phones for you to get your calls in after we've had the full time reports from the Premiership matches. Maybe you've got some.
Where the controversy will come. The controversy will come from the Motherwell Hibs game. The Celtic fans, I think, would want to praise their side and maybe tell us why it was 5-0 at half time and 5-0 at full time. So the Rangers fans will want to know if this 14-point lead that Celtic have over their team, can it be eaten into tomorrow? It must be eaten into, or else the result against Nice might never have happened for all it helps Philippe Clement.
Well, the referee is going to the screen at Tannadice, which may mean that penalty isn't going to stand. 5 minutes added there, and probably a bit extra if the referee is over at the VAR screen at the moment.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay in the end, but Jim will want that given, obviously, to make it a wee bit more comfortable, but I think they'll see it out regardless.
Stenhousemuir safely through to the fourth round of the Scottish Cup. Ewan O'Reilly getting his hat-trick on 93 minutes, 5-0 up. 2 minutes added at Celtic Park.
And won't Don Cowie be happy to have those 2 minutes come and go? But I do think that at half time he must have feared a catastrophic result. But 5-0 can happen.
I'm not going to say he'll be happy, but I think he'll take a big sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Because we've been in that camp losing 7 and against quality teams that certainly can come out and make it anything they wanted. And you're just praying that you get out there with, right, okay, I would take 5, 0-0 at half time, second half, let's get out and regroup.
Penalty stands, and Fraser, who committed the foul, has been booked for a second time and is sent off. So it's going to be a penalty, and Kevin Holt to take again to wrap up the 3 points for Dundee United.
Would you go the same way?
However, saved.
No, it wouldn't have went the same way. Would have changed it.
No, he's went the same way. No, he's went the same way. The goalkeeper saved it.
Yeah, Ellery Balcom in the St Mirren goal. You wonder, with 5 minutes added, probably all of that still to go, could that boy St Mirren?
No.
Not having it.
Done and dusted. Down to 10 men.
Livingston 2-0 winners against Brora. Whose shout was that again for the...
That was mine.
Oh, your initial shout before you
effort. Yeah.
Changed it.
That was never happening, was it?
I changed it. The other game I think still tied at 1-1.
Fair play to Davy Martindale. All season long, League, Cup, whatever, they're hanging in there, Libby. They could yet come back up to the Premiership, and we'll all have to put up with that pitch of theirs.
Full time at Celtic Park, Gabriel.
Yes, it's all over here. Celtic 5, Ross County 0. A 5-star first half performance from the champions with 5 different scorers, sending them 5 points clear at the top of the table for the first time this season. Brendan Rodgers made 6 changes before the game. One of them was defender Liam Scales, who opened the scoring in the 10th minute. A great header coming in off the underside of the bar from an in-swinging Luke McCowan corner, and it was roles reversed for the second. A lifted ball over the top from the Irishman. He found McCowan, who had made a darting run from midfield, a touch and finish past Ross Laidlaw. Another change player, Paolo Bernardo, got the third. His first effort was blocked, but he tucked away it comfortably at the second time of asking. Just a minute later, Andrew, it was for captain Callum McGregor with a thunderous strike from 25 yards. His 6th league goal this season. He is the top scorer in the Premiership. And then Adam Eder followed his captain's example just before the interval, curling the ball in from outside the box as well. Another lovely finish. And that was the scoring done, but not for the want of trying from the team in green and white. They hit the woodwork 3 times in the second half. Adam Eder also forced several good stops from substitute goalkeeper Jack Hamilton, but yep, it stayed at 5. County were dreadful today, but they'll look back at this result and think it could have been a lot worse. They remain 8th in the table, whilst it's a near perfect day for Brendan Rodgers. They are now 14 points ahead of Rangers, and we are still in November. They lead Aberdeen at the top of the table by 5 points, and they head to Pittodrie on Wednesday night. Full time here, it's Celtic 5, Ross County 0.
I did say, would that missed penalty from Dundee United, would it boy St Mirren?
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
No, St Mirren 0, Dundee United 2, Adebayoga securing the points for Dundee United. A missed penalty from Kevin Holt. It was saved by Ellery Balcombe a few moments ago, but Adebayoga has put them 2-0 ahead. We've got a full time at Rugby Park, Roger Hannah.
We do, Andrew. Kilmarnock 1, Dundee 1, and this pair would really just be best starting the games after 70 minutes with all the late drama that they have in their third meeting in just 8 weeks. It was another frantic finale and a share of the spoils, which Tony Docherty will probably be happier with than his old pal Derek McInnes. The first half basically a non-event. Dundee started brightly, Jordan McGee testing Robbie McCrory inside 5 minutes. Kelly ending the first half brightly with Kyle Vassell having a shot deflected wide just before the break. But the second half far better. Kilmarnock in the front foot really for most of the half. Did John McCracken a terrific save to deny Gary Mackay-Stephen. The excellent Antonio Portales, a couple of big blocks in the Dundee box to deny Kilmarnock. But just as it looked as if McInnes' men might get a breakthrough, Dundee scored completely against the run of play. Terrific work down the left hand side by substitute Sean Adewumi. He cut the ball back, and there was Lyle Cameron to get a terrific accurate shot high into the Kilmarnock net for his 5th goal of the season. But when these two play, you just knew that wasn't going to be the final word. McInnes threw on Danny Armstrong, Liam Polworth and Bobby Wales, and the homegrown striker responded just 2 minutes later with an equaliser high past McCracken. There was drama to come. McCrory had to save from Adewumi at one end. There was a Kilmarnock penalty claim when Ennis Cameron went down under the challenge of Billy Cometia just as the game went into 5 added minutes. But in the end, and for the first time this season, there wasn't to be a last minute winner for either side. A share of the spoils. Dundee probably have got away with one. Kilmarnock 1, Dundee 1.
It's full time at Fir Park as well, David Friel.
Yeah, full time. Andrew, Motherwell 0, Hibs 3. The Hibs players are mobbing each other. They are lapping this up. You don't know if you heard the jeers there from the home end. Motherwell fans are not happy. But what a day for David Gray and his Hibs players. After 2.5 months of misery, 2.5 months without a league win, they are finally celebrating 3 points. Junior Hoylett, Mikola Kuharevich and Josh Campbell all scored as Hibs moved off bottom spot and sent Hearts to the foot of the Premiership table. Hibs were on a 9-game winless run going into this one, but they were good value for their 3 points. Motherwell fans, as I said, are far from happy, but you need to give credit to Hibs for a real team display. We've spoken so often about them having a soft centre and not being solid enough, but they limited Motherwell to very, very few chances and took theirs at the other end. It definitely eases pressure on David Gray, and he will hope that this can kick-start their season. Junior Hoylett put Hibs ahead 26 minutes with the game's first shot on target. Nicky Cadden's cross. Nicky Cadden was excellent all afternoon. It was completely missed by Motherwell keeper Aston Oxborough. Hoylett, he's a wily old player. He gambled at the back post and produced a really nice finish. And then 38 minutes it was 2-0. Nicky Cadden again involved. His corner was flicked on by Eli Yuan. Jack Ardale tried to finish at the back post. His effort was blocked, but Kuharevich was on hand to put the ball over the line. Motherwell fans weren't happy at that stage. Stuart Kettlewell sent on to Zach Robinson for the second half. He did have half a chance from a corner, but Jordan Smith made a decent save. And the Hibs keeper badly at fault against Aberdeen in midweek, then had a hand in Josh Campbell's third in 81 minutes. His long punt was headed down by Dwight Gale, and Campbell did the rest. Moses Abaye did hit the post late on for Motherwell, but it was too little too late. Hibs were really comfortable as they secured a rare clean sheet and 3 massive points to move off the bottom of the Premiership table. What a day for David Gray. He's clapping the fans right now. He's lapping this up. Full time, Motherwell 0, Hibs 3.
Still playing at Tannadice between Dundee United and St Mirren. In fact, it is full time now. We will go and get the full time story from Dave Galloway after the break, but now it is time to hear from you. 0141 951 1025. The lines are open. We want to hear maybe it's thoughts on today's action. Celtic fans, what did you make of that performance against Ross County? How did the first half compare to the second half? 5-0 up at half time. No more goals in that one, but extending the lead at the top of the table over Aberdeen and Rangers, who are both in action tomorrow. Motherwell fans, where did it go wrong today up against Hibs, who are bottom of the table? Is that a concerning display? Is it a concerning result? And Hibs fans, I want to hear from you as well, because what did you make of that performance? A 3-0 win. I'm not sure many, if anyone, saw that coming. That is a huge victory for David Gray. There is, Dundee United and St Mirren. Dundee United beating St Mirren 2-0. Kilmarnock and Dundee 1-1 draw. And of course, Rangers fans, tomorrow after that 4-1 win against Nice on Thursday, what does Philippe Clement need to do tomorrow? 0141 951 1025. We'll speak to you next.
After the action, it's your reaction. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
The Premiership action for today is over, and now we want to hear from you. 0141 951 1025. Celtic 5-0 winners over Ross County. A really good first half display. Celtic trying to add to that in the second half, weren't able to, but tested goalkeeper Jack Hamilton a good few times. Full time between Dundee United and St Mirren, 2-0 it was in the end. There was a late Marcus Fraser red card as well. Kilmarnock 1, Dundee 1, and Motherwell 0, Hibs 3. Scottish Cup third round. Some games still going on, of course, because plenty have gone to extra time. I think maybe 4 in total. But a good win for Clyde Bank. Hamilton beating Banks of D. Ayr United are through after victory against Morton. Dunfermline through as well. Livingston, Wraith, Musselburgh Athletic. It's into extra time between Queen's Park and Partick Thistle, who are 2-2, and in extra time Broxburn Athletic are 2-1 up against Stranraer. Let's hear from you. 0141 951 1025. Hugh, what do you take away from today's games?
Well, first of all, let's start at the top. Celtic, immense appetite for the game. Scored 5, might have scored 10, but for the woodwork and good work by the goalkeeper in the second half. They've done their part of the bargain. They're 14 points ahead of Rangers. That's the most important thing for the Celtic fans. They probably discount Aberdeen. They only think about Rangers. 14 points. The pressure's on Philippe Clement tomorrow at Perth. When you look at the bottom half of the table, Andrew, the bottom 6 teams are separated by 7 points. That's not a monumental gap. So a bit of a logjam is going to develop down at the bottom. But for Hibs, a red letter day. They put Hearts to the bottom of the table. They go above not only Hearts but Kilmarnock. And for David Gray, just a terrific comeback from the 3-3 draw against Aberdeen. But for Motherwell, the fact that Motherwell on their own pitch have lost 3-0 to the team who started the day bottom of the table, and let's be honest, a bit of a laughing stock within Scottish football. They've just taken Motherwell apart.
Kilmarnock did get that equaliser, so Kilmarnock stay above Hibs because they got a point.
I was the same, and I was just listening to you. I agree with you. I thought it was a very professional performance from Celtic this afternoon. Made 6 changes, got off to the best start. Credit to Ross County. That could have been a really sore one. The dug in second half must have been so difficult there, under pressure just constantly. You look at my own team, Motherwell. I think we'll get a few unhappy Motherwell fans on this phone in tonight, but well done to Hibs. David Gray certainly needed a result. It's been a positive week. They got a point against Aberdeen, and then 3 points today. Kilmarnock and Dundee, obviously that draw, not surprised with that. And well done to everyone that went through in the Scottish Cup third round this afternoon.
Yeah, big win for Hibs, as you say. Big win for Dundee United, because 3 points puts them level on points with Rangers. They have played, is it 2 games more than Rangers now? I think they've played, but 23 points into staying in 4th place. Jim Goodwin's season going well.
Well, they've only lost 3 games this season, so I think it's a remarkable start for Dundee United. When you come up, you revamp your squad, you change the formation, you add new players to that, and you're sitting there in 4th with, we're looking at 6 wins this season. I think it's really good stuff from Dundee United. Obviously home form's going to be key, so well done to them. Celtic, 5 different scorers, job done, no more than expected really. But result of the day obviously goes to David Gray and Hibs. One that he can go home tonight and enjoy. He's not had many of those evenings.
0141 951 1025 on the phones. Whether it's today's action or whether it's tomorrow's action you're interested in. St Johnstone against Rangers, Hearts against Aberdeen. Celtic's result, the performance, maybe just adds even a bit more pressure onto the two of those to try and see if they can get anywhere close to Celtic?
Well, first of all, Aberdeen. People spoke of them as title challengers, or at least capable of splitting Celtic and Rangers and finishing second. Now Celtic are 5 points clear of them. They meet on Wednesday night. The Aberdeen can't afford to lose that game on Wednesday night. With regard to Rangers, the result on the Riviera was magnificent, and you cannot detract from it. But they play well on Thursdays and take the weekend off. That can't happen tomorrow, because the gap is now getting embarrassing between themselves and Celtic. They cannot possibly drop anything in Perth.
Scottish Cup action today as well. Some of those still going on. Brecon City have gone 2-1 up against Cowdenbeath. Brad Mackay in extra time. It's looking good for them. The games that are still going on, 2-2 between Forfar and Stirling in extra time, 2-2 between Queen's Park and Partick Thistle in extra time. Broxburn 2-1 up against Stranraer. Good win for Clydebank. Hugh?
Yeah, I mean, I look forward to the draw on Monday night. The Clydebank, very important place for me for 40 odd years of my life, and the football club, very important, and I'd love to see them get a very good draw and get some money into the club, and just for the sheer thrill of my family going to see Clydebank playing a really big club in the next round would be nice.
Brendan Rodgers made changes for Celtic today, lots of changes. Who do you feel gave him food for thought going into a big game away to Aberdeen on Wednesday?
Well, I think Bernardo's done himself no harm, obviously scoring, but playing pretty well, and I think he's one at the forefront of everyone's mind, probably including the manager. I think he might start, by the way, at Pittodrie. Look, McCown did well with the time he's got on the pitch, but I don't think he'll be able to force himself, and I think it will be Engels or Hatate take that other spot. Alex Vai is one that's an interesting one, because Greg Taylor plays the position so well, that inverted fullback, but Valley showed a run of form just now, so comfortable in the ball, good getting forward, plays forward passes that Brendan Rodgers might think about. I think he'll revert back to type in terms of skills. Will come out and Trusty will go in. Alistair Johnson will be at right back as well, so, and Kyogo probably come back in the team. I think he'd have done well, but I think come Wednesday night Kyogo will be back in.
01419511025. Riley is a Celtic fan up first. Riley, were you at the game today?
Well, that's the thing. I was at the game till half time, where me and my dad looked at the game and we went, let's just go home at half time, because see what's going on with Celtic now. I don't think many Celtic fans are going to agree with what I say here, but see, being a Celtic fan now, watching Scottish football, it's getting a bit boring watching Scottish football now, being a Celtic fan.
You left the game when Celtic were 5-0 up at half time?
At half time, yes.
What you overlook, Riley, you and your dad, is that this is what Brendan Rodgers aspires to be. He aspires to have the best team in Scotland without question, and he wants them to do well in Europe as well. So it's not a bad thing that he's way in front of every other club. That's what he plans for. It's for the other clubs to do what they can to lift their standards. So I think you possibly have it in the wrong order here. The applause should go to Celtic for showing the mentality after the game against Bruges to go out there and get a 5-goal lead. Yes, Ross County are way behind them and haven't won a game on the road for 15 months. But surely you stick with your own team in praise of the manager who built it.
Did you not get any enjoyment out of that first half?
I was going to say, Andrew, Riley, why did you leave the game at 5-0?
Right, I'm going to be honest. It's correct what you're saying there. Yes, it's for pulling school game at Celtic. Yes, it's fair. Celtic are top of the league now, right? But the thing is, it's not entertaining. See, when you see one club just dominate Scottish football. As I said, Aberdeen are now 5 points behind Celtic with the game tomorrow. Rangers being 14 points behind Celtic. I don't feel like there's a club now in Scotland that can push Celtic. I'm not saying Aberdeen have not done good this season.
I was going to say, Riley, so at half time when Celtic were 2-0 up against Aberdeen, did you just go, there's no challenge, I'm away at half time?
No.
Of course not. So what? Why even go to the game at all today if you didn't think there was a challenge there for Brendan Rodgers' side?
I'm going to be brutally honest. That's a fair point you've said there. I went today, right, and I thought Ross County was going to do what they did at Dingwall and put us through to the last minute for Nicholas County to score. I thought we would do the exact same at Dingwall at Parkhead, because Ross County at Dingwall dominated Celtic till the last minute of the match, where Celtic struggled to get the win.
So you think they can come to Celtic Park and take on a Celtic team in their home patch and dominate them like they did at Dingwall? Because if that's the case, I now understand why you left at half time.
No, I just think. See, sometimes I feel like sometimes Celtic can see Celtic walk out of Europe, and as I say, the draw was that. But sometimes Celtic walk out of Europe, right, and the Scottish teams can take advantage of a Celtic team who haven't performed well in Europe. Like the Dortmund win, we've done that, and then we struggled against Ross County. I thought would also happen with Bruges because we got a 1-1 result.
So Celtic are damned if they do and damned if they don't, because if they don't beat Ross County, you would reserve the right to be extremely critical, and if they do beat Ross County by too many goals, then you're critical of that as well.
I've never heard a situation where fans are leaving the ground because their team's too good.
Surely the very core of being a football supporter is the joy of watching your team win and score goals, Riley. Do you not get the enjoyment from that?
This moment in time with Celtic and Scotland, I don't see the enjoyment. I think, and I hate. I'm the one of the fans to say Celtic should move out of England, because that is not what Celtic should do. Celtic is a Scottish club, and I'm happy being a Scottish club. I just think that being a Celtic fan, it's just a bit boring sitting there watching my team go out and get big results.
Do you know what, Riley? I think you should donate your season ticket to a Celtic fan who can't afford to buy one.
I'd like to see Riley's season ticket. Let me tell you now, I'm not having Riley.
I'd love to know what supporters of the 41 other SPFL clubs must be thinking listening to this, that you're bored of football because your team are 5-0 up at half time.
It's contradictory what Riley says, because he says he wanted something like Ross County and, push to the edge, but then he's saying there's no challenge, it's all a bit boring. Was it boring that day when Celtic snatched it? What about a couple of weeks ago at Rugby Park? Celtic just coming off the back of an unbelievable performance against Leipzig. They go to Rugby Park. Kilmarnock could be 2 or 3 up, but Celtic have to ride it out, and then they get 2 goals, of course. And so there is competition there. Celtic are being pushed in different ways. There is always going to be afternoons like this when you've got a squad as good as Celtic at home against Ross County. I called it before the game. I said to Hugh and Daz, this will be a 5 today, because you see the quality players coming into the squad with a point to prove. But there'll be other days that Celtic will be pushed to the edge, like Aberdeen a month ago, where it's 2-2. So contradicts himself a bit. Wants competition, wants to be pushed, but just
If the league is a lot more competitive, Riley, Celtic then draw more games, Celtic then lose more games. Would you rather that than Celtic go unbeaten?
I would love to see us unbeaten, but see what I'm meaning by I'm getting a wee bit bored. It's because we saw it last week, went up to Tynecastle, struggled the first half, right, fair point, but then we dominated Hearts the rest of that half with a 4-1 win. Then a week later, on the Saturday night, we went against Ross County and we basically done the same first half.
I'm sorry, but I just don't get what you're on about. You are literally impossible to please. Celtic scored 9 goals in 2 games, and you're finding fault with it.
Celtic weren't good last week for 45 minutes, were they?
Yeah, first
so
half.
It was opposite. They had to dig in again, come out, rejuvenate, and then find a way to get themselves ahead and score 4 goals.
At least they beat the traffic. Well done, Riley.
Yeah.
Well, thank you to Riley.
He was in the Ford at 3:45, wasn't he?
Thank you to Riley. Mark is a Celtic fan in Cumbernauld. Mark, what did you take away from today's game? Did you go? Did you stay for 90 minutes?
I actually didn't go. I gave him a ticket to my... good afternoon, gents. Sorry about that.
Hello.
I didn't go. I gave my ticket to my boy.
I was hoping you weren't going to say you gave your ticket to Riley, who just phoned in before.
I gave it to my son, and because I was there Wednesday night, so I gave him the chance to go. And I've got 121, 117, and my kids have seen Celtic win pretty much everything in Scotland, and they haven't seen much bad times. But I don't know a fan in the world that wouldn't want their team to win every game and be delighted that they're winning 5-0, regardless of the league they're playing in. But that's not my point. That's just a wee point for Riley there,
Yeah, I'm not sure there's going to be many people agreeing with
No.
Riley. Mark, what did you take away from today's game? Was there anything that you feel gives Brendan Rodgers food for thought going forward in terms of team selection?
Well, Celtic made 6 changes, and they've got a real strong squad. Everybody knows that, they're real strong. But I thought the guy stood at a mile a day, and I know Mark was talking about it just earlier there with Bernardo, but I thought Luke McCowan was excellent today. I thought Celtic paid £1 million for a guy who put the captain of Dundee, and he's maybe forgotten about a wee bit of the Celtic fans sometimes because he's a Scottish player and he's been brought in from Scotland, but as far as I'm aware, he scored a goal today and he got 3 assists. He was outstanding, and when you can recruit a guy like that for £1 million and bring him in for Engels or Hatate, then you can't be going far wrong,
It's a great bit of business, you've got to say. Great bit of business. I was a bit sceptical about it when it happened. I'm thinking, right, okay, £1 million.
Forget he almost went to Hibs
yeah,
as well.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the midfield and the commentary. I'm thinking he's never got to get in that midfield. All credit to the boy. He's come in there. He looks like a guy that's been at Celtic for a long, long time. He's settled into a big, big club. You knew the pressure because how he felt about the club. He's been a supporter, always wanted to play. He's been excellent. It's just that he finds himself in that department where you can make a case for every single one of them. The quality they've got in there is incredible. But he's certainly putting himself out there. And I was looking on my phone, I just seen the end of the Celtic game, and I see Brendan Rodgers right after the game talking to him, and maybe just encouraging him again, telling him how well he's doing. Celtic fans are loving him. Really, it's been a good bit of business.
He's the one that represents the fans in the park, because he's the one who was born and brought up a Celtic fan and achieves the dream. People talk about living the dream. Luke McCowan is living the dream, and that's why the Celtic supporters have a special place for him in their hearts. It does appear to be the case that he's behind Paulo Bernardo and Arne Engels in the queue when it comes to Champions League matches. That may remain the case. We shall find out when Celtic go to Croatia to play Dinamo Zagreb on the 10th of December. But he has been a great piece of business, as Gordon Dalziel said. £1 million now for Celtic is, not a lot of money, but it was well spent in the case of Luke McCowan.
Mark, do you think he's capable of breaking his way into Celtic's starting 11 when it comes round to the big games, the European nights? Do you think that Luke McCowan's capable of making it so that Brendan Rodgers has to choose him, essentially?
I don't see why not. I understand, they've got guys there, Rio Hatate, Bernardo and Engels, because nobody's replacing McGregor. But I can't see why not. He's got all the attributes. I think he's a far better player than people give him credit for. He's a really good creative footballer, and he creates the space. Now, I know we're playing against Ross County, no disrespect to them, but you're playing up against a low block, if people want to call it, and they're penned in, and he was bringing some passes around all over the place. So I can't see why they don't want to play him as competition for places, which we're all looking for.
How tough a task does he have breaking into that Celtic starting midfield? Because I'm not sure that anyone would expect that he'll start at Pittodrie on Wednesday in a huge game. At what point, what does he need to do to make his way into that team?
Maybe not what he needs to do. I mean, listen, what he needs to do is what he did today. He gets a start, he scores a goal, he has big involvement in other goals, so he's done his part. But it's what others need to do. I think others need to play poorly over a number of weeks for him to get the chance, because let's be honest, right? Let's be totally honest. There's levels here. Hatate and Bernardo are levels above McCowan. That's just the God's honest truth. But McCowan's a very, very good player, so when he gets the opportunity like he does today and he scores, then it just puts that thought in Brendan Rodgers' head. If it comes to a big European game on Wednesday, if it was to come around Wednesday, Luke McCowan wouldn't find himself in the starting lineup, because the work Hatate's already done, the work Bernardo's already done. Engels comes for X amount of millions. They are just ahead of him, so they need to play consistently poorly and Maclean just needs to keep chipping away to get a chance. And I hope he does get a run of games because he is a good player. But I think he'll understand where he is at a minute. I think he'll understand coming into an environment like Celtic that he's going to have to be patient.
I think a lot of his form when he comes on is down to the fact that sometimes you go into that midfield, especially Celtic with the quality, you could get caught up in that. As a player that's played with Dundee, a move to Hibs or whatever, you're thinking, oh, is that a better move? You end up at Celtic, £1 million, want to be there, you get into that midfield. I think he's thrived off playing with the quality that he's playing with. I really do. I think he's just risen to the challenge. He must enjoy it. He knows that he's playing with top players, and there's not a better feeling. The boy's doing very well.
Well, thank you to Mark on the line. Any more thoughts on that Celtic game or any of today's action? Or maybe you want to turn your attention to tomorrow's matches: St Johnstone Rangers, Hearts against Aberdeen. More of your calls, and we'll hear from some of the managers next.
The games are over. The talking begins. 0141 951 1025. Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard's open line.
Still plenty of time to get your calls in before 6 o'clock on Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard. 0141 951 1025. Celtic with a big win over Ross County, 5-0 winners. But our first caller tonight decided to leave at half time because he was bored of Celtic cruising to victory. Dundee United 2-0 winners over St Mirren. Kilmarnock and Dundee drawing 1-1. Hibs big winners 3-0 away to Motherwell. I'm not sure anyone saw that coming. There are some Scottish Cup games still going on in extra time. Brecon 3-1 up against Cowdenbeath, so they'll be in the draw for the next round. 3-3 between Forfar and Stirling. Still 2-2 between Queen's Park and Partick Thistle. Broxburn 2-1 up against Stranraer. They're a couple of minutes away from going into the fourth round draw. Let's go back to the phones. Helen is a Celtic fan up next. Helen, what did you take away from today?
I'm just phoning to say I didn't think I would ever agree with Hugh Keevins, but what he said to the last caller was spot on. How can you call yourself a Celtic fan and leave at half time when your team are winning 5-0? Do you mean there's plenty of people sitting on a waiting list, waiting on season tickets? If I was that guy, I would give up his season ticket right now. Do you mean there's people crying out for season tickets, and this clown is leaving at half time because we're 5-0 up, and the quality of the goals were unbelievable? How can you call yourself a Celtic fan?
Well, Helen, he is a Celtic fan, but he's a misguided Celtic fan. And I was being serious. It's that time of the year, and you know yourself, Helen, the work that Celtic's Charity Foundation do, incredible sums of money raised, and then lots of people looked after. Why not, if it bores you, why not just donate your season ticket for the remainder of the season to someone who can't afford one?
People support their teams in different ways, but I'm just looking at our Twitter feed at the moment and
saying he's not a Celtic fan.
Well, either that or just people just cannot believe what they heard from.
Like, see, at the end of the day, let's be honest, I agree with everything Helen said before we start here, but at the end of the day, if he has got a season ticket and he's paid his money, he's entitled to do what he wants. You know what I mean? But listen, I'm not arguing his side. I'm just saying he's entitled to do what he's wants. He's paid his money. If he doesn't feel that that's value in the second half and he's getting turned off with it, then fine, on you go. As I say, the benefits is you do miss the traffic and you're home early. But Helen makes a great point. It's not like it's boring football. It's exciting football. They're creating chances. They're hitting the bar in the second half. They're bringing on other players. They're playing at such a pace. The goals that they're scoring, McGregor's goal was a magnificent goal, magnificent right for outside the box. You can talk about other goals. The performances of Bernardo McGinn. You know, there's a lot there to like about your team. You know, as much as you go, well, we all fancied, and Mark called it early 5-0 and well done to him. But I keep going back to it. If you pay your money, and it is a lot of money, you're entitled to do what you want.
It depends what Riley wants, right? If Riley buys his season ticket because he wants to go there and see real competitive football every week and the jeopardy of going, Celtic might lose some home games, well, see, before he purchased his season ticket, he said, I had a long look at the history of this league, and Celtic win almost every week at home, and that's what he's going to face. So again, I just didn't get his points. I don't think we should get caught up too much.
To give out a quick history lesson, in my lifetime I have watched Celtic win the European Cup, and 27 years later, I watched them 24 hours away from going out of business. That's what football looks like. And you always enjoy your good times, because in football, as Helen knows, the bad times will find you as well. And then your season ticket is spent on watching a team that you feel sorry for.
Helen, what pleased you about today?
Oh, I thought the team was brilliant. I think the passing, the goals. So for somebody to come on and say he was bored and he left at half time, I just find unbelievable. I honestly, hand on heart, I don't think he's a Celtic fan. No Celtic fan that I know would come out with that comment. Absolutely not. What does he want them to do? Play rubbish football and then he'll be happy? Do you know what I mean? Why would you pay your money and hope they don't score? Do you know what I mean? It's just unbelievable. Give your ticket up and give it to somebody that's waiting in the queue.
Well, take away the goals, right, and the 5 different goal scorers, and some of them were eye-catching that. But I think Kellen touched on a point there. The way that Celtic play just now is attractive to go and watch, especially at home, where the pitch is big and the chances they create, the way they move the ball, the speed it, the way they move it. That was the one kind of wee disappointment for me midweek. I thought in the first 45 minutes they didn't move it quick enough. But you look at the games, some of the eye-catching performances this season, and like I say, take away the goals, because that's always the end product that everybody loves to see. But we like to see football being played, from the back, through the lines and all that nonsense, and out wide, and we like to see wingers take on people like Nicholas Kuhn. Celtic have had that in abundance this year. So they have been a good watch. They've not just eked out 1 and 2-0 wins across the season. The
thing I will say, right, where Helen's a wee bit wrong, I don't think the lad, come on, was it Riley, whatever he called him, he's became famous now. I don't think he's come on and said he didn't want Celtic to score goals. I think he was bored with the competition, because I think everybody looked at that game today and said, right, if Celtic play the capabilities, they'll win it very comfortable, and that's what they do most games. But you're right, you're a supporter again along there. For me, football's about entertainment, right? I love entertaining football. I like watching a good game and, a team playing very well. Celtic fans are getting that in abundance just now. Abundance. Now, I totally agree. It might not even be a Celtic. I'd like to see a 40 season ticket. But I get back to it. If there's a season ticket holder and he's a genuine Celtic fan, he's entitled to do what he wants.
The story of the day about Celtic is that following a tough Champions League match midweek, they came and they put out a side that was much changed. 6 different players who didn't start the match against Club Brugge, and they entertained. They scored goals. They were denied goals by a good goalkeeper in the second half, by the woodwork. They came out and they gave the Celtic supporters justification for turning up.
Well, thank you to Helen. Let's speak to Martin, who's a Motherwell fan, on the line. Martin, not a good day. Can you hear us, Martin?
Hello.
Hi, Martin.
Hi, sorry, I'd actually muted you there, sorry.
Cheers.
It's just the best game of the day, mate. We're playing at home to Hibs, right? Hibs are a bigger club than that, and I totally get that. How are you going to win a game of football playing 7 defensive-minded players in your starting 11? You're not going to win a game of football. I saw that defeat coming all day long today. We were terrible up at Ross County. It seems to be when they're chasing a game, it just lumps 4 strikers up front, takes the midfield away. So when loose ball's falling in the midfield, you're losing the ball and it's straight back at you again. And the 3 goals we lost today were, if my kids' team lost that at their game on a Saturday morning, I'd be disappointed. Never mind so-called professional players losing goals like that.
Did just third goal. Sorry, Martin, I was just going to say, is this felt like a bit of a trend, recent performances?
It's been coming for a while. See, when Kettlewell first came in, he played 2 up front, and the Motherwell fans, well, me personally, I know a lot of Motherwell fans were crying out for it. 2 up front. And they started winning games, and then all of a sudden he goes back to this one. One week he's playing that boy Stammer, the Australian boy up front. Next week he's got Tony Walker on for the bench, then he'll stick Moses on. Then he'll have Robinson starting the game. I just feel up front he doesn't have a clue what he's doing. I know he improved Bear last season, and Van Veen had a good season before, but it's dire to watch. It's really bad. I mean, I watched this with Hamill, and we were bad enough under Hamill. But we're losing cheap goals. That first goal with the goalkeeper, he's about 7 foot.
See, the only thing I will say, being around the town, I know there's a lot of disgruntled Motherwell fans because of recent performances. and the way things are going, but they're still top 5, right? But getting back to the argument, everybody likes attacking football. Kilmarnock played about 5 or 6 forwards today, and they didn't win the game. So it doesn't guarantee playing forwards has got to win you the game, but it's the style of football and how you play and how you get it up to your front men, how you create chances. And Motherwell aren't doing that just now. I think Stuart's coming in for a bit of criticism, probably since Hampden, when his substitutions were questioned. And I hear a lot of Motherwell fans now talking about, oh, his substitutions are terrible week in, week out. But as much as it is a poor time just now, and they've got, as I mentioned in the show earlier, they've got 2 away games, difficult ones, Dundee and St Mirren next. They're still in the top 5, right? So you need to balance that up. At the beginning of the season, would you have taken that?
Is the league position any consolation, Martin?
Can I throw this back at you? Everybody seems to think he's doing this good job, and I like Kettlewell when I just don't like formation. See, that starting lineup, he puts the same one out every week, same formation. It doesn't matter who you're playing. You need chop and change that. But I mean, that's 7 players. You don't need to play Halliday and Dava in defensive midfield against Hibs, who are really, really, they're poor this season. So their confidence was short. Why were there no pounding shots on that goalkeeper, putting high balls into his box and whatever else? We weren't doing nothing like that. And if we did play a high ball, it was to the wee guy out in the wing. I can't pronounce his name, number 55.
Maswanisi.
Aye, and you're playing a high ball at him now. He's never going to win a high ball against the guys at the back for Hibs.
I would agree with that. If you're playing against a Hibs team today, I would have targeted their goalkeeper all day long, right? Because that's been a problem for Hibs. They've changed the goalkeeper. He had a poor game in the Tuesday night, was it, Aberdeen? Lost 3 goals at home. So a bit short of confidence. To be fair to him today, got a clean sheet. I think that the way that Motherwell are playing is a problem for the fans just now. They're switching off to it.
Taking today's game in isolation, I cannot contradict Martin or mount any defence of Stuart Kettlewell or Motherwell, because they're playing the team at the bottom of the league who have had a shocking season. Not just an indifferent season, they've had a terrible season, and their goalkeeping problems are well documented. But to lose 3-0 to them at your place has to be unacceptable to Martin and the supporters. Fantastic for Hibs, who incidentally have now scored 6 goals in their last 2 games. I mean, it could be the turning of a corner. The 3-3 with Aberdeen could have been the turning of a corner, but that doesn't help Martin enjoy Saturday night any. There is no defence that can be mounted of Motherwell following a result like that at your place.
But I was going to say, I think the defence is that can happen in this league. We'll slaughter Hibs for underachieving for 14 games. Today they've got a good squad, they've got good players. When you look at their individuals, I didn't see the game, so Martin will have a better grasp of it than me. Maybe Hibs players just turned up and Motherwell maybe played to the level they have been in a couple of weeks.
Is it the bigger problem that Martin's pointing out, though, that he doesn't like the team selection, he doesn't like the substitutions, he doesn't like the style of play?
I'm wondering, Martin's saying 7 defensive players there, and I'm looking at the team set up and line up, and you've got Maswanisi there, you've got Stamina Talopidis.
Stammer, just go Stammer.
You've got Coletta, Ewan Wilson's done okay, Lennon Miller's in behind, Andy Halliday. Is Andy Halliday that much of a defensive player? He scores a couple of goals, he gets himself forward, takes a set piece. So there's enough there to create chances for you. But obviously it didn't pay off today. I can get why they're frustrated, but you have to be realistic. Where Motherwell are in the league, where would you rather be? Where you are or where Hibs are? You'd take where Motherwell is all day long.
Well, let's hear from Stuart Kettlewell.
Just anger, real anger in the level of performance, real anger in every aspect of the game. I'm not going to shy away from any of them. Can't make excuses about travel or referees or anything like that at all. Full ownership. Rest with myself, playing at home. It's never been something that we've found ourselves in that type of position, being 3 goals down, being completely out of the game, not having a real spark to instigate that thought process that we might be getting back into a game of football. Lack quality at the top end of the pitch. lack quality in the middle of the park and concede the most ridiculous goals that you'll see, and that becomes a recipe for disaster in the game of football. It's as simple as that. I'll stress it again, it's not to be noble and sit here in front of anybody and think any better of me going into a game on Wednesday. That sole responsibility lies with me to correct that, and over the last 2 games the 5 goals that we concede are amateurish as far as I'm concerned. I have to put players into a position to make better decisions, put them into a position where they have more confidence going into the forward areas, and we all want to take the praise and everything with a good start to the season. We've had quite a lot of plaudits for where we've been sitting in the league table, and getting to a national semi-final, you absolutely have to take the criticism that comes your way off the back of that result and performance.
Well, at least he said not going to attempt to pull the wool over anyone's eyes. Terrible performance. He's taken full responsibility for it. Just a rank bad day. But the question is it just one rank bad day, or is it now becoming a trend?
Well, thank you to Martin. 01419511025. We'll hear from some more managers and a couple more calls next.
After they play, you have your say. 0141 951 1025. Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard's open line.
Into the final part of today's Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard. Celtic 5-0 winners over Ross County. There was also a 3-0 win for Hibs away to Motherwell. It was 1-1 between Kilmarnock and Dundee. Dundee United 2-0 winners over St Mirren. There is a Scottish Cup match still going on between Queen's Park and Partick Thistle. It's gone to penalties. Partick Thistle currently 4-3 up.
Yes.
Queen's Park have to score their next one to stay in it.
Don't fancy them.
We will keep you updated on that. Let's hear from Brendan Rodgers.
It was so good. Yeah, everything that you would want as a coach. I said before the game that it's not a game we want to wait on. We want to go and create the game, and from the very first whistle you see the hunger and the determination in the players and the mentality to impose our style in the game. Yeah, Scalesy gets us off to a great start, great ball in, gets the header, and we were relentless after that. We played equally as well in the second half, but you have to give credit to the goalkeeper. He's made some brilliant saves. We had the crossbar twice, I think the post, and then some really good defending by Ross County. But wow, some of the football that we played, and not only that, the speed of the game. I was so impressed with the mentality of the team. We're getting there. Listen, it's not lost on me. We got booed off here last year. But what I know from my time, and obviously knowing Celtic, it isn't just about the scoreline. It's about the performance. And I think what's great is the consistency now, and how from those moments of last year, how this team is evolving and developing. It's now it's that continuation of consistency and the mindset. These games can be really tricky after the highs of a Champions League game and a good point in midweek, but to come and play with that energy and mentality and quality, that's really pleasing.
I just hope nobody tells him about Riley. That's all. But he's right. Every word that he said was correct. After the game against Bruges in the Champions League, Celtic came out and delivered entertainment. They demonstrated hunger, passion, desire, professionalism, and but for the post, the crossbar, the goalkeeper, it could have been anything you like. That's Celtic being true to themselves and to the fans who buy the season tickets and don't find it boring, they find it entertaining. They have delivered everything they are obliged to deliver of a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, it's not as if, despite the fact Celtic didn't score in the second half, they had plenty of chances. They were still creating, as Hugh says, unlucky not to score more.
Yeah, and that's all the manager can ask for. Yeah, really impressive stuff. A good example of how to utilise a big squad, and a quality squad at that, giving everybody game time. Even the guys that started the game Wednesday night come on and get a wee bit as well. So he'll be extremely happy. But he keeps coming back to consistency. It's one thing I think every manager wants is consistency within your side when they're winning and playing well. It's another thing actually achieving it. But 4 goals away at Tynecastle last week, 5 at home this week. Big game midweek against Aberdeen. Will his team be able to go to the well again and produce a similar performance? Time will tell.
John is a Celtic fan in Crookston. John, how are you?
Hi guys, fine, thanks.
What are you thinking today?
Well, I just want to challenge Mark Wilson on something he said about half an hour ago.
Go for it,
John.
Mark, I think something along the lines of your words were, at this moment in time, or right now, or something along the lines, like he says, that Rio Hatate and Arnie Engels were clear of Luke McCowan. And just maybe overall, Hatate's proved himself, and Arnie Engels comes for maybe a better calibre. But at this moment in time, surely you couldn't be any more wrong.
I couldn't be any more wrong.
Yeah, you said your words were at this moment in time. At this moment in time, Luke McCowan just scored a goal and got 3 assists.
Well, okay, I'll stand corrected. At this very specific moment in time,
yes,
you're right, John.
The reason
Okay.
I'm challenging on this, John, is because I want this to be a question. I'm in no way to put the boot into Rio Hatate. I love him. And Arnie Engels, I'm sure they'll come well. We don't pay that much money for someone that isn't going to produce the goods. Surely, my question was, do you think McCowan should and will start against Aberdeen on Wednesday?
Are you asking me personally?
Yeah, everybody on the panel, please.
Okay, I think Luke McCowan's done very well since he's been at Celtic, but I'll go back to what I says. I think there is levels to this, and I've got experience with this myself because I came from Dundee United to Celtic. I understood there was levels to the players that were there and established. I think Rio Hatate will play. I think Bernardo is ahead of Luke McCowan as well. I think Engels, just for what he's been bought for and the price tag, unfortunately I think that comes into it in Brendan Rodgers' mind. So my personal opinion, I think it'll be McGregor, I think Hatate will come back in, and I think it'll be Bernardo personally. But I don't think Luke McCowan's done bad. That isn't a slight on Luke McCowan. I think he's done great. I'm being realistic of how things are.
Will he start on Wednesday?
No. Look, I know where the caller's coming from, and I think he'd be backed up with a lot of Celtic fans. Since he's come into the building, he's been excellent. But I'm talking about Brendan Rodgers here, right? The manager at the Celtic Supporters Trust. If he's playing his biggest game tomorrow, right? Luke McCowan is not starting in that game, and I'm not having a go at the lad. I just think he's in that midfield where Celtic are so strong with the talent they've got. Yes, you look at some of the players. Sometimes Hatate for the other night there wasn't that great, and you think, right, get him in. McCowan come in the day. I've been shouting for Bernardo for months because I think he's top drawer. But Brendan Rodgers sees it different. He sees his strongest three probably in his big games of Engels, Hatate and McGregor. He's got the luxury it could change. Look, would I be disappointed or surprised if he went in Wednesday night against Aberdeen? No, I certainly would not. But I don't think he will. I agree with what Mark said there.
I don't think he'll start either. And I think the choice will be between Engels and Paulo Bernardo. I think Hatate will play, and obviously Callum McGregor will play. But we have to be careful.
Can I nip in there, please?
Well, just let me say one thing to you, John. We have to be careful with. I know that you, like many Celtic supporters, Luke McCowan is you on the park because he was born and brought up a Celtic supporter, and his dream was to play for Celtic. Therefore, he represents you and others when he's on the park. But he's still behind McGregor, Hatate, Bernardo and Engels in the queue.
John?
Listen, I can't disagree with that. But when the boy gets his chance, like you say, he's just going to get chances from time to time. He couldn't do any more than what he did today. So how can you set up 3 goals, score 1 and then get dropped? When you see you get a chance to take it,
John, do you think he'll start on Wednesday?
Do I think he will? No, but I think he should.
I think the other thing that you overlook, it doesn't matter who starts for Celtic this season, it's who finishes the game, because they use their players so well. Brendan Rodgers does it so well that no matter what's going on, the team that starts is changed throughout the game, and the team that finishes the game strongly for Celtic. It's been a recurring theme. Therefore, they're not dropped, they are utilised, if I can put it that way. The manager, knows who's best to start, who's best to come off, who's best to go on, and there's no such thing as a starting 11 at Celtic.
See at Celtic, you can have a couple of these.
I mean, there has been a starting 11 really for Celtic though, hasn't there?
Of course there have been.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's a starting 11 and the best starting 11, but It's as if people are saying, oh, Luke McCowan is being excluded because his name doesn't end in a vowel, or it didn't cost £11 million. It's Brendan Rodgers. The theme of the season for Celtic has been the use of players, the extensive use of players, because they have a quality and depth that no one else can live with.
I think there's a few in that category, right? You can even expand that to, say, Scales, for instance, right? How good has Scales been for Celtic? Comes in today, gets opening goal, clean sheet defensively, Atalanta, terrific, brilliant, with Trusty. But unfortunately for Scales, and you can argue, he should be starting, Trusty and Carter Vickers seem to be the partnership that in the big games that Brendan Rodgers will go to. You look at the left back position, there's now a debate there as well. Listen, it's healthy competition. It's a great argument to have, because if you're having those arguments about these players, those positions, you're in a good place.
Well, thank you to John. Running short on time, I do want to hear from David Gray after Hibs' 3-0 win over Motherwell.
Delighted for the players, for the effort, the level of professionalism, how strong we looked within the game, and I think fully deserved the 3 points today. Challenged the players before the game to use Tuesday night as the turning point in the season, take the confidence from that, and I think you've seen a side today that was playing with a lot of confidence and belief in themselves, and I think the clean sheet as well really helps with that. Delighted for everybody, and we need to use this, like I say, as the turning point in the season and kick on from here, because that doesn't fix things in terms of where we find ourselves. We know we need to progress, keep improving, but it takes us off the bottom of the table at the moment, and now we chase down the team in front of us. I think there's also an element of what we have been doing and the internal belief of what we have been doing. I know I've sat and had to answer a lot of the questions quite similar most weeks about me believing in the team, but also today we're not talking about individual errors, we're not talking about decision making within the game or mentality, which shows you at this level how difficult it is to win games of football. But if you do the basics well, there's no individual errors today, and we keep 11 players on the pitch. We're a real good side, and we demonstrated that today. And credit to everyone for being professional, but also delivering that level of performance.
He sounds like a boxer who's taken a bit of a beating, and they put the smelling salts under his nose, and he's there, he's back in the fight. So well done, David Gray. He sounds 10 years younger, and now it's on to the next game midweek, and he'll be looking to see how Hearts get on against Aberdeen tomorrow, because Hearts are now bottom.
I mentioned that Queen's Park Partick Thistle game went to penalties. Queen's Park are through 7-6 on penalties.
Thriller.
Robbed.
Yeah.
No, that is disappointing. No doubt denying that, because it means a lot to teams in the Championship and leagues further down to get to the next round of the Cup and get that big draw. So hugely disappointing from a Partick Thistle point of view.
Yeah, a big day of action to come tomorrow as well.
Two highly intriguing games. Aberdeen going to Hearts on the back of a defeat at Paisley and a draw in Edinburgh with Hibs, and they can't afford another setback against Hearts at Tynecastle. What an occasion. But before then, high noon literally for Rangers, because they're 14 points behind Celtic. What will be with Aberdeen, but 14 points behind Celtic. For the Rangers supporters, that's embarrassing, and they want that lead reduced tomorrow or else.
Yes, thank you for listening. Thank you for your calls and for your tweets. We will be back on Monday night, where we will look back on all of today's action, and of course the big games tomorrow. St Johnstone against Rangers at midday, Hearts against Aberdeen at 3 o'clock as well, and of course some Scottish Cup action still to come this weekend as well. Stick around though, because it is the GBX up next.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast
with Luker's Land Rover. Looking to sell your Land Rover? Contact them today for a no obligation quotation.
Cappuccino for Kristen.
Oh, sorry mate, I've forgotten my card.
Alright, of course you have. Third time this week, just saying.
I'll get the next ones, promise.
No need.
Oh, thank you.
You can just send me £4.70 with your PayPal app for your double shot oat milk skinny caramel latte with extra foam.
Oh, don't forget my sprinkles.
Don't just pay. PayPal.
A PayPal account is required to send and receive money.
At Tesco Mobile, that Black Friday feeling lasts longer. Get the epic Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra with unlimited data for just $49.99 a month with club card prices, saving you a huge £738. Plus, you'll get a frozen contract and more club card points, turning Black Friday into Black Friday. It pays to be connected. Search Tesco Mobile. Every little helps.
End 2nd of December. Club card and 36-month credit agreement required. Frozen for contract duration. Terms at tescomobile.com/terms.